right, and welcome everyone to Rise of the Roomlords. I don't know what this is. It's a Pathfinder first edition actual play that was spawned out of a gag joke in my Rise of the Runelord stream that normally runs in this time slot. And I got together these three fine gentlemen to, open a shop. And that's where we're at. So we're going to go around the table real quick. We're going to have everyone just quickly introduce themselves, introduce your character's name, and then I got a quick intro. We're going to dive right into whatever the hell this is going to be. So we'll start with Atomic. We'll go to Drubaka and then Zachary. Take it away, Atomic.
All right, name's Atomic, also known as Kane. I'm kind of new around here, but I've been a Pathfinder guy for a long time. Big D&D guy for that. Big Warhammer guy. Started Baldur's Gate. Warhammer, kind of moved on to everything else. But I love playing insane, batshit insane characters, and it sounded like a really good opportunity to just go nuts. So you got to do it. You just gotta go nuts sometimes.
Lean into it. You got to lean into it. Drubaka.
Hi, I'm Drew. Y'all know me here. I'm playing Throg, also more commonly these days known as Cornelius Ellsworth Throgwell IV. He is a former, he was kind of a barbarianish thing. You don't really know what he is, but the group as a whole, knew him having, pretty much three possessions: his tree branch that he used as a club sometimes, a dirty loincloth, and his multiculture of venereal diseases. But once they retired, you found out that it was all just him putting on an act, and he's actually a noble-born
Orc.
Man of business.
I love it. Zachary, take it away.
Yes. My name is Zachary. I not really known by anything on the internet. I do have a actual play podcast that I do with some friends on Sunday.
What's the stream?
Twitch.tv/ChrisyC90.
Nice.
Yeah, we play every Sunday. It's a game set in Exandria, 30 years past the end of the world war between the Dwendalian Empire and the Kryn dynasty. But Lolth has apparated an avatar of herself and basically taken over all of Tal'Dorei, all of Exandria except Marquette and Asilra. Besides that, I play D&D, I do stuff, I work, all kinds of stuff. As for my character, I am playing Nalith Lythara, a human born turned lich, a wizard necromancer with a mighty repertoire of necromancy spells and other things, and is currently running the back room of the store.
I love
with
it.
her multitude of undead.
I love that. Absolutely love it. And of course, I am Darewolf, the Game Master, Darewolf Gaming Idiot on Twitter and Twitch. Don't forget to drop a follow. And if you have a Prime sub that you're not using, feel free to throw it my way as well. It all helps and goes right back into creating more, hopefully hilarious content like we have today. But as we open our scene, we see in the distance, this small dot in a raging sea that is the inner sea of the world of Golarion. And as we zoom in, we have this kind of bird's eye view, and we zoom down onto the small island that contains the mighty city at the center of the world, the mighty city of Absalom. And we watch as the sun is just starting to rise and drape the city, kind of basket in beautiful golden light. And we see the wonderful and resplendent ascendant court with its temple of the Starstone, the many bridges that travel across. We see the sun start to illuminate that glorious tower. And as we zoom down and pivot back away from it, we go towards the section of the city known as the Coins. This is a kind of mercantile area where many shops and businesses, and we see that it is incredibly early in the morning. There's just a few people that have started to wander around, opening up their shops, rising up little overhangs, opening curtains. We see a couple of folks moving around looking for maybe something to buy or a morning breakfast meal. But as we zoom into a very small and narrow kind of street, we zoom into a very narrow and small looking shop, which out front is what appears to be a kind of inflatable, wacky waving, inflatable tube man, but it looks like a young man who is dressed in the accoutrement of a cleric of Abadar, and he's kind of just doing this all around, going up and down, and then up and down, and all around. And as the camera pans up to the store itself, we see that that store has a name. And which of us would like to say what the name of the store is?
I've already forgotten.
I was about to say, it's terrible that I've already forgotten. Even though we just talked about
We
it.
literally just talked about it. The name of the store is Roomlords, Comfort, Curios, and Contraptions. And there is this beautiful banner in golden, somewhat sparkly lettering that says, "In loving memory of Quinten Q Generico, Human Cleric." And as we walk in to that front door, we see the door open, and this shop looks to be maybe 20 feet wide by at most 70 feet deep. But if you've ever been inside of a Bed Bath & Beyond or a Lowe's or any of those large department stores, as you walk inside, you realize it's not about on the outside, it's about what's inside that really counts. This place is enormous. There are rows and rows and rows of all different manner of things. There is furniture, there's curios, there's soaps, there's all different manner of things. But as we walk into that store, we see one of the front counters. And sitting at the front counter is, well, it's Atomic's character. I'd like you to take a moment to describe what your character looks like and what they would be doing early in the morning as the Roomlord store has just opened.
Yep. So, because I forgot earlier, but playing Volkar as a Kyrian tiefling who's very much not a people person. So, but he's sitting there, you know, he's got a cloak on because even though it's hot, it's the middle of the city. Who cares? He's reading through a book, and there's some sort of invisible, almost like shimmering, like predator-esque thing that keeps bringing him books, but keeps bringing him the wrong books. So he keeps yelling at it, calling it worthless and a piece of shit and an asshole. And then it like kind of like dips its head like in like its size, and then it goes and puts the book back and tries to get the right book. And it's just a repeated incident of this over and over again. You know, that's just him fighting with his creations, trying to get you know paperwork done and you know everything else before the grand opening of the day. You know, because you got to wait last minute for important paperwork. Everybody knows that. You have to by law. Last minute.
That is fantastic. And as you are finishing up that last minute paperwork from the front entrance that we described ourselves entering in, there's a tiny little bell, just like your classic shop, you know, little tiny town, little shopping, a little bell to alert you that there's somebody coming in. And you hear the tiny little bell. Perhaps you look up. Perhaps you're just too engrossed in what you're doing. But you hear the tiny pitter-patter of feet. And you hear this kind of bouncing back and forth. And as you maybe look up and over the counter, you see a small child. He looks to be no older than 3, maybe 6 years old. He says, "Excuse me, sir, do you have a public restroom? I've really got to go."
We have a public restroom. That's a great question. That depends if you're going to buy something.
I don't know. I don't have much money, but if you don't let me go, I'm going to pee my pants, sir.
Well, do it outside. Don't do it in here.
But sir, I don't want to do it outside. Sir, please, can you just, is there a restroom?
Down that hall to the left. Don't go to the right. There's something in there that might eat you.
Thank you, sir. And then he zips off down the alley, and I'm going to have you roll a D100, and I want you to tell me high or low before you roll.
Okay, we'll go high.
This too.
And as the child goes away, Volkar's just visibly shudders.
Fantastic. You hear the pitter-patter of feet run down the alley, and you hear the pitter-patter of feet turn to the right rather than the left. As it turns to the right, you hear, well, that's the back room. What would this child hear, Zachary, as he enters into the back room by mistake? Who would be at the back room at this point, if you could describe them to us and yourself?
In the back room is a absolutely beautiful elven looking individual. I know I said human, but the picture is elven, so I'm going with it. She's undead. I don't give a fuck.
I love it.
Is a give me a second.
I'll show that to the group.
A second.
This is the elf, and this was Volcar. There's Volcar for everybody at home.
He appears blue in that, but I assure you, he has a great skin.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Wonderful.
Is a lovely looking elven individual, pale skin, kind of platinum blonde, but more so white than actual blonde hair, down to the back, robes, lovely looking, elegant. Her hands are kind of like pointed a bit more than they should be, and she has a symbol on an amulet around her neck of a certain god, and she is currently talking to another individual, also very female, very beautiful, and it is one of her cohorts, not the cohort, but one of her undead in her employ, a vampire seducer.
And as the child bursts through the door, so please go ahead with the name. Forgive me.
Naya. And we're just having a little chat about boundaries and mutual respect for each other when it comes to other employees and other things that happen. And she says, dear, I know that your nature is that of more esoteric means and more the sexual nature, but when it comes to work, we tend not to what's the word I'm looking for? God.
I think it would be funny that in this moment, as you're looking for the word in character, the child bursts the doorway, says, "Oh dear, I'm not going to make it!" And you hear the tiny trickle as he can no longer hold his bladder, and the slight smell of pee. And he looks down at the floor, his wet pants, and says, "I'm sorry, miss. Didn't mean to cause a mess." And he turns and runs back through those doors. Zombie comes up with a mop and starts slowly mopping.
Yes, George, I know. You're tired. Don't make me put you back in the bucket.
And he goes back to cleaning.
It's so Naya. It's just so hard to find good work nowadays. Good help. I'm flustered. Stop fucking the tiefling. Last warning. Last warning. Or you're getting George's job.
And with that, we're going to pivot over. Where would Throg be early in the morning? Where would Throg be early in the morning?
He would probably be. He would have his own office on the way to the back, and he would probably be keeping up with some of his correspondence, sitting there writing a letter.
If you might
looking through investments, maybe
embellish for just a moment. Embellish just for a
please.
moment. There is an office that's kind of, if you imagine a large warehouse, there's actually a set of stairs that kind of travels up into the rafters. And you kind of have this, almost like an overseer's office that can see the entire floor. You can see a little bit of everything. You've got, it's maybe a little pocket dimension up there, whatever you'd like to see. I'll let you embellish yourself, but you're up in your office. You can see a little bit of everything. And what exactly are you working on in this moment?
He is writing some correspondence to one of his brokers, and reading through a report on grain futures.
Love it. I absolutely love it. As you're reading on this report, in your mind, you hear and you can kind of feel that tingle of magic as a message spell is sent to you. And it's from one of the local tax masters, a gentleman by the name of High Priest Delvis von Geralt is his name. And the message simply states, "Good morning, and congratulations on opening your business here in Absalom. I trust that you'll have all the paperwork in order. I'll be stopping by this early afternoon to pick it up and finalize. Failure to do so will report in X and YZ fines, subsection 32, line 43, section 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Will also be a digression of," and then the message cuts off, indicating that he ran out of words before you could finish going into what message and what rules and regulations you'd be violating. But you get this message, and what would you like to do with that information?
I will send back, "It will be a pleasure to receive you."
Very good.
I will gather I'll get up and go to I guess I would have like one of those desks with all the drawers and shit and cubbies and whatnot, and I'll pick out the papers, the necessary papers, and a special little ledger that he keeps.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And as you go to pull out the letters, and you go to pull out all the paperwork, I need you to go ahead and roll me a D100. And as is tradition, tell me high or low.
I always roll high, but
All right, let's go. There it is. Hashtag bring your towel. All right. Absolutely fantastic. And as you go to look for the paperwork, Throg, you find everything but. You find your 1040s, you find your 1098s, you find your 403B statement, you find a bunch of different, you find several 401ks that don't belong to you, but they have lots in them.
Well, they do now.
You are marked as the person to receive it upon the other person's eventual death. But you cannot find the paperwork that is needed. It is completely missing. Every page, everything. There's no paperwork there for you.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just grab my ledger and head downstairs.
I love it. As you head back downstairs, we pivot back over to the front desk where, let's see here. Volcaire, you watch the young boy come squishing by and say, "Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir," and zip by you and just right through the front door. As the bell jingles, it goes out. The door is one of those like back and forth doors. It goes out and then comes back in. As it goes out, it also instantaneously comes back in. And entering in is a man with an owl on his shoulder. And he looks a little nervous. He looks a little, not necessarily lost, but he looks nervous and curious simultaneously. His hands somewhat kind of ringing together ever so slightly. The owl on his shoulder, its head doing a nice 270 back and forth, almost like it's scanning. And he just very interestingly kind of looks around, walks in, starts to maybe look over at some towels that you have near the entrance. And, "Oh, this is nice. What do you think?" "Yes, very nice. All right." And then sets it down, walks over, and completely does his best to avoid eye contact with you. But he starts browsing near some of the blankets and clothing that you might have for sale, kind of like one of those resale stores.
Trying to determine if he's like, is he trying to like look like he's interested and maybe try and nick something? Just because Volcar hates people. So he always assumes the worst because he's lived a long time and humanity has never disappointed him when it comes to bullshit.
As this is going on, Rog, you've managed to make your way back down to the area maybe near where Volcaire is. Volcaire, I'd like you to go ahead and make a perception or sense motive check. It's entirely up to you what you want to make. And Naileth, you've actually watched your zombie. It was George you had mentioned. George, who is slowly cleaning up the aisles as he works his way forward. And George is dressed in a blue kind of custodial looking outfit. He has dark sunglasses on because one of his eyes is not there. But his skin looks pretty good for a zombie, you know. But he does a lot of, and you're kind of watching him do his work. And your cohort has pouted and moved off. And give us a perception check as you moved back towards the front, if you would.
I will say he's a bit more speedy as he is a fast.
Oh, he is. He's doing a pretty good job. Yeah. He's doing a good job. He's doing a good job, and he's getting the aisles cleaned. As this man with the owl on his shoulder is looking. But I'd like you to make a perception check on your cohort that you gave the talking to about the employee's code of conduct, if you would be so bold.
So I'm making a perception check for the vampire seducer.
Yes, that is correct. To see where she went off to.
Oh, I'm making it
yes,
on her.
You are making it for her to see where she went off to. That is what we're doing. Yeah.
All right. Let me see.
And Volker, as that's going on, your perception check reveals that the man doesn't appear to be looking to nix anything. He's just, it's like he's coming looking for something, but maybe even he doesn't know what he's looking for. Maybe he needs someone to show him what he needs. I mean, he looks like a customer. He looks good. And Nalith, your perception check, you notice that your vampire seducer that you have went into the room, and about 30 seconds later, a certain tiefling also went into that room. So we're not sure if the talk you gave her went well or not. We'll leave that up to you. Maybe they're just they do work in close proximity, so we'll see what happens with that. We'll get back to that later. But you've all arrived near the front counter at this point. George, the fast zombie, has managed to, at this point, very speedily clean up all of the aisles. Squeaky clean. He walks back by Nalith.
I know you can talk, George. You don't have to. Yes. Yeah. Try it. Yeah.
And then George hurriedly rocks off. But the three of you are now together near the front counter. And you see this man looking like he wants to buy something. How would you like to proceed?
Oh. Are you passing it to me or Mr. Atomic?
Anyone that wants to talk.
Anyone?
Please. You're all there together.
Volker will jump the counter in fantabulous fashion.
Sleep.
Just scratching right over the top of it. Doesn't give a shit. And walk up behind the man and just tap him on the shoulder with his tail.
Oh, hello. Sorry, just browsing. Just browsing. Thank you. Don't need any help. Just browsing.
Are you sure about that?
Just browsing. Thank you.
Okay. Gonna give the man an odd look. I don't know. There's something about this old man. There's just I don't know. There's just something about him.
Stop pressuring me. I just came in to browse. All of you salespeople the exact same way. I swear to Nethys, you're all the same. Just coming in like little vultures all over me. I just want to look, for God's sake.
Volker, darling, please don't drive out all our business in one day. I'm sorry, sir.
I said nothing to the man. I simply introduced myself.
It's okay. Hello there. My name is Naleth. This is Volker, my friend, companion, co-owner. What exactly were you attempting to look for?
You know, you could learn something from this young lady. Bit of class and poise, as it were. Thank you, ma'am, for asking. I'm actually looking for a very particular item. I noticed that it said curios in the name of your store, and I was wondering if you happen to have a wand of magic missile for sale.
A wand of magic missiles. While our stock is fresh and new, a wand of magic missile would that be in our repertoire of inventory?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You do not have that item. As a precedent, just so you know, anything that anyone comes in looking for, you will not have. And your goal is to attempt to sell them something else as a better or an improved replacement. And I'll give each of you a chance to attempt to sell this person something. But yeah, you will have nothing practical. Wand of magic missile, a wand of cure light wounds, perhaps a scroll of teleport. Yep, don't have any of those, but you've got other stuff, and it's even better. That's what we've got, even better stuff. So, I guess, Zachary, Nalith, you're up first to attempt to sell this man something. What would you like to attempt to sell him?
I'm gonna go like this. All right. Well, unfortunately, we don't have one, but we do have a gang of enchanters in the back that are able to procure that item or craft it for you. Normally, things of this nature are a bit more expensive, but we should be able to make a deal here, I'm sure. Now, I noticed that you are, unfortunately, on the older side of...
Beg
Is it
your pardon, older
a
side? How dare you?
aged divinely, I might add.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Okay. How's a 45 for you?
He feels annoyed, but he'll allow it.
About 45? Okay, sure. Now, we do have several amazing options available. One of them would be, and I slowly take him over to another part of the store where we have like a small assortment of bathroom accoutrement.
Oh.
And I take him to a small fountain, like a wash basin,
Okay,
clean your face with.
Okay.
Made out of nice granite with silver engraving inlay, and it can either be attached to a post or it can have small feet attached to it.
Okay.
But this here, sir, is quite a wondrous item. It can youthen individuals permanently, not temporarily, permanently. All you have to do is focus some of yourself when you are using it. So it's not an unconscious thing. It's a very conscious effort. You won't be activating this unnecessarily. Very good safety feature to have when you're dealing with anything that does age-related magics. And it is absolutely something I think you would make wondrous use out of.
And if I may ask, how much does an item of this nature cost?
Can I make some sort of check to see what his wallet, the range of his wallet might be? Looking at him, cold, staring at him.
You know what?
The whole 9 yards.
He gives off the air of a man of means.
He's
a man of means. He's got money.
I am not used to Pathfinder gold, as a note. So what would that look like?
You know what? Give me a number. It's up to you, man.
Okay. This, for complete installation, movement, and we'll say, 10-year warranty for damages, any disjointment, any arcane mishaps happen to it, or anything like that.
All right.
You bring it back, we'll come to you, we'll re-enchant it, or mostly we'll take it back and re-enchant it. You don't want a wizard living in your lavatory, which is something we do offer for other methods as well. But we will re-enchant it, fix it,
Ma'am,
reapply.
if I may be so bold as to be blunt, how much?
15,000 gold.
Well, I'll have to keep browsing, but I'll keep it in mind. And the man pivots away, walking down one of the other aisles, leaving you to ponder to yourself, as it were. But he's going to walk over back to Volker. Kind of back to him. And he's giving you a bit of the side eye, but he's looking at you a little bit. And he says, Do I happen to know you, young man?
Oh, do you happen to know me? I don't know if depends how long you've been in this area. Been around for quite some time, mostly adventuring and so forth. And as he's talking, he snaps his fingers and holds his arm out, and a clockwork mechanical owl alights on his arm. And he doesn't acknowledge it, but he just pulls it in and he just keeps talking.
And he looks at it.
Yes, I've been around for a while. I've always been interested in curios and oddities, visiting other planes to make deals and such and find rare oddities such as this. This is a clockwork owl. Functions identically to a familiar. Significantly tougher. You don't have to worry about it getting blasted off your shoulder. It does still need to eat, though. They were not quite sure where the meat goes.
The owl on the man's shoulder looks so annoyed. Its eyes narrow, and you're pretty sure you saw it take one of its wings and flick you off. You're not sure how that's possible, but you think it might have. And the man is almost salivating at this owl. He seems highly intrigued. Might I dare say, ask, my good man, forgive me, I seem to be off topic. I was asking where you were from, but this owl, it is highly intriguing. Where did you acquire such a strange and delightful item of sorts?
Well, I'm a self-made man myself, and I come from the puddles where, the poorer tiefling population comes, but, I pulled myself up from my bootstraps as well. In a bar, I played a game of cards against a man who was, let's just say, a little overconfident, and turned out to be a wizard of some means, and had such a lovely familiar, and after running out of money, he decided to bet it, and just... either fate was not on his side or the gods were laughing at him, one or the other, but he played the worst possible hand, and it's kind of cliche, but yes, I won it in a card game, and it's been around quite a while. It's it does everything a familiar would do, but no attitude problems. You have no problems training it to do things, other than having to feed it. I mean, that's it. It's a construct, but it functions identically to a living creature in every other way, and it's interesting. It's the meat goes in, but nothing comes out. Like, we have no idea where it goes.
The man seems highly intrigued by this owl, and as he is pondering its existence, I'd like you to go ahead and roll a quick sense motive check, if you'd be so bold to, Volker.
This
Sense
will
motive check.
not be great.
I'm excited.
On purpose.
I'm excited.
Wow, oof. That's a nat 1.
You
First one of the night.
are 100% sure that this man is 100% going to buy this owl, no matter what price you tell him. I mean, he is so into this owl that you could tell him 100,000 gold, and he'd probably be like sold to the man with the fantastic gray skin. But with that being said, he leans in, he gets close. His owl on his shoulder is making angry owl noises, but he leans in, and as he does so, he says, "My good man, I must know, how much would such an item cost? I'm intrigued."
Well, it is a fine mechanical clockwork. Some of it's interesting because the outer casing appears to be of elvish design, but the insides are all, they're all dwarven. They have the tiny little maker stamps on them. So obviously multiple people collaborated to make such a fine artifact, and it's like a fine watch. It's, as long as it's maintained well and taken care of, it will last forever. Now, it's an interesting item, and maybe it has more powers and possibilities. So who knows? I mean, it's, I could sell it to you for your price, and it turns out it could be worth substantially more. Who knows? But as much as, I would like to sell it for somewhere around 20 grand. But for a man such as you, who appreciates a fine avian specimen, I'm willing to, let's say, we'll do around 15, and don't let the others know.
Oh, mighty intriguing. Let me ponder it for a few moments, but let me just ponder it. Oh dear, so many options.
Well, it is mechanical, so it's not going to die anytime soon. So take your time, my good man.
Oh, how delightful! Don't run up on people. You're actually quite nice. Thank you. Oh dear. And he's going to wander off. And Throg, you were just having a conversation with Nalith, I understand, but he is going to wander over towards Throg, and he's just kind of glancing around. At this point, he's looking at a couple of really nice looking lamps that appear to be made out of some kind of thick leather, thick hide, and he's just kind of glancing at them, and then he looks over to you, almost as though he has a question to ask, but he approaches you, Throg.
May I be of assistance, sir?
Oh, yes, we're just browsing at this moment. Thank you for being so polite. Other than the first gentleman I walked in, he was quite nice. Well, your two colleagues here have offered me two delightful items, and I'm simply having trouble deciding which one I'd like to purchase. One of them, on one hand, does make me younger, and I am getting a bit older in age. The other, though, is a mechanical owl. I'm not supposed to say anything, sorry. You didn't hear it from me. I'm just very intrigued by it. So, it's all a buzz.
Well, you seem a gentleman of taste. Perhaps I could interest you in this item. And he reaches into he's in I don't know if I mentioned, he's in a black pinstripe suit with like a bowler hat.
Okay.
Face tattoos, scraggly beard, like big tusks, but like very well appointed suit.
Mhm.
Pulls out a very intricately carved meerschaum pipe
Oh.
in a case. He
Okay.
opens up the case and he says, "Would you be interested in something such as this, my good man?"
Well, I'm not much of a smoker myself, but it does look quite interesting. What is it?
This is an ever smoking pipe. Empty. He holds it up. Nothing inside. He puts it in his mouth, puffs away, and smoke comes out. Never empty, never hot. Cool smoke, delicious. He blows a smoke ring towards him, and it's like you know that like perfect tobacco, like
Oh, yeah.
pipe tobacco smell.
Yeah.
Just that one that makes you think of your granddad. Like,
Maybe I should take up
Just-
smoking. Don't do smoking.
yeah,
It's bad for
exactly.
you.
That exact smell. Finest tobacco I've ever smoked. Never runs out. Never hot.
Man leans back. He is intrigued. He's intrigued. Well, as I said, I'm not much of a smoker myself, but that is an interesting item. Might I
also makes
ask- Oh,
It makes a wonderful gift as well.
and that gets his gears turning. It does get his gears turning a little bit. And he says, well, Father's Day is coming up rather soon. How much?
Well, I once had it almost sold to a gentleman. Not quite as well appointed as you, my good man.
Well,
I was going to sell it to him for, it was 1,500 gold pieces,
oh,
but it fell through, and honestly, I think you know a better deal when you see it. 1,200 for you, my good man.
yeah. Mighty intriguing, mighty intriguing. Well, I'm going to need a bit of time to ponder. I have 3 particular options that I'm interested in, but my man, that was... I can still smell it. Delightful. And he's going to part away, and he'll continue to browse the store, but allows all 3 of you to come back together, as I believe you've been discussing this paperwork that is currently missing. I'd like to give you all a chance to discuss that in character, as the man with the owl on his shoulder wanders away for a few moments.
Yes, the license, the tax documents, all gone.
Right.
I can handle it if we can't find them.
She pardons herself for a minute and goes to the back, and just at the balcony, she says with some volume, "Amaranthos, come here, please." And Amaranthos is a adult sky dragon.
Yes, my queen.
Form, please. Thank you. Humanoid, human, male, long brown hair, the works. Nicer fineries. Amaranthos, thank you for coming. It seems that some documents have gone missing, and I would like you to take charge in just going around to every department and seeing if any of second-hand employees have done anything in Throg's office.
Yes, my queen. And everyone would see a giant kitty cat. That's adorable. No, a giant dragon, an adult dragon, flying around the rafters looking for these tax documents. But yes, as you all return back together, you've discussed. You see this man is still pondering around, poking around at some different oddities, some different things, and the doorbell of the little jingly bell of the shop jingles again, and wandering in are two pumpkin-headed creatures that appear to be goblins. One of them has a top hat and a monocle, and the other one appears to be wearing a living possum as a scarf. And the possum is and she's just ever so gently caressing it. And the goblins kind of just wander in a little bit, and the one looks to the other and says, "Well, dare I say, this is a very interesting store. Perhaps we can find that bed we've been looking for." And he wanders off. She just goes, "Oh, Bernard, you and your bed. Our bed is fine. Rocks and hay and whatnot. No, I'm telling you, Beatrice, I cannot sleep at night." And they appear to be having an argument about their sleeping arrangements back at their abode. But it sounds like these two goblins are looking for, they're looking for a bed. And I'm curious as to which of you would like to attempt to assist them in finding their bed, which you obviously do not have any mattresses in the store, unfortunately.
Yeah. Would two goblins be able to like nicely sleep on like a big dog? Or maybe like a big fluffy dog, like a mountain Bernese. What are those big mountain dogs?
Bernese mountain dog.
Bernese mountain dogs.
Mountain
Yeah,
dog?
Bernese mountain dogs.
bear
yeah.
dogs.
Bear
You know
dogs.
what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I took it the first time, so if anyone would like to, or we would just keep the same order that we did.
It's up to you guys.
No,
Fine.
I want nothing to do with the smelly little bastards.
Oh, no. He's going to pass on this one. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, does anybody else speak Goblin? Because I do.
They are speaking common. They are speaking common.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
interesting.
But you know, they look pretty put together. I mean, one of them's wearing just like a suit vest.
I also know.
Like, is
Funny
he
language.
wearing like tails? Like with you
He's
see
got
monocle?
tails,
And
yes.
Okay.
No
okay.
pants, completely exposed. Just
No
FYI,
pants. So
no pants,
wait,
completely exposed.
is he hanging dong?
Oh, he's hanging dong, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, he's
Absolutely.
shirt cocking it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
shirt
shirt
cocking
cocking.
it right now.
Right.
Yeah, his wife's dressed fully, but he is shirt cocking it. But he
got-
looks like he's trying to put on an air of
Did-
respectability.
Did the male have the possum or the female?
No, the female has the possum, and I will mark them. Red will be the female, and blue will be the male. And he is looking around in the furniture section. They've wandered off. They're short, scrunching around. They've wandered off a little bit, but they are looking at some of. You have lots of bed frames, but no mattresses. Not a single mattress in the entirety of the store.
How do we
I'll
open
take-
that?
I'll take it. I got an idea. All right, I'll take it. The Volgar will, saunter his way over. Welcome to Roomlords, Comfort and Curios and Contraptions. My name is Volgar Zakarian, and might I be of service?
Yes, my name is Bernard the Fourth, and this is my lovely wife, Patrice. Say hello, Patrice. Hello. And the two of them are hanging out there looking. We are looking for a new mattress for our room here in Absalom. We own a small flat in the room, and currently we've been sleeping on the floor, so my back and I'm having terrible nightmares, and just we're looking for a bit more comfort as we move our way up in society. And as he says so, he is just swinging back and forth. It's hard. It's
swinging
hard
down.
not to see it, but you do your best to ignore it. He's just very happily just jingling there.
All
But
right,
with
just-
that
just-
being said,
The ultimate free balling.
oh yeah,
Well, I don't know if we have any mattresses per se. However, if you step over here into the home goods, how do you feel about when you go to somewhere nice and upscale? You always smell fresh confections and the smell of fresh breads and, sweets and that sort of thing. It really just gives a nice aura and brings everyone up. How do you feel about that sort of thing? It's not a mattress, I know, but it does improve the ambiance of, your home quite a bit. Always have that fresh baked goods smell going on.
so Patrice, She looks very intrigued. Bernard looks relatively annoyed right now.
I said I was looking for a mattress, and you offer me confections?
Bernard, you're always saying how I should cook more in the house. Well, this would be the next best thing. I don't have to cook. It'll simply smell like I am.
Patrice, that doesn't help me with sleeping.
And they start to argue with each other at this point, back and forth. But Patrice, she seems interested. She does seem interested. And as the argument kind of rises to a bit of a cap and then diminishes down over the course of about 15 seconds, she turns to you.
And what do you call this contraption?
Well, step right here and I'll show you. So he pulls out this chest, and it's like, literally, I'm pulling it from, it's the chest that the Holy Hand Grenade was in from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes.
And he, makes a big deal about it's got 3 locks, and he opens it, and he, makes sure he covers one's combination lock. It's like, well, it's not yours yet. And, obviously, and when he opens it, it is a perfect, almost as if it was fresh baked 20 minutes ago, gem encrusted blackberry muffin.
Ooh.
Now, this fancy confectionery goodness, well, it's a muffin covered in gems. Why? I have no idea, but it's always fresh, and it always eludes that smell of fresh baked muffins. It's just a lovely thing, almost like the ultimate candle in a situation. Plus, it really gives off that air of just wealth. It's like someone sees it, they're like, they have a muffin with gems. How rich must they be to have a muffin with gems? It's like having a golden latrine or, gold-covered toilet paper, that sort of thing. It's so extravagant, so over the top that people, your neighbors, your friends will all be immensely jealous and covetous of your just insane wealth that you can display with such an item. Plus, it makes the house smell like muffins. Who doesn't like a good muffin?
And almost Looney Tunes style, the two of them are hovering in the air above you, just with their tongues just aggressively hung out and like dangling in front of them as they like follow it's literally like you can see it like a little
the scent trail.
little scent trail like that, and they are intrigued by it. But as you put the muffin away for a moment, you slam it, the effect is ended, and they both drop to the ground with an oof, off, and they stand up.
Oh, that does sound mighty interesting. I don't know, Patrice. Good sir, how much does this muffin cost?
Well, these are some fine gems, and I mean, you could take them out, I suppose, but I think the effect of having such a thing, really, I don't want to say it's priceless, but it's worth more in a social situation than you might pay for it. You understand what I'm saying? It's really just the effect it has on other people is very strong. People being people as they are. Now, I would be willing to let go with such an interesting oddity for, now normally I would say somewhere around maybe 5.5, but for you, my good sir and lady, I'd be willing to let it go for somewhere around 3. It includes the case with the locks, so it's safe and sound when not on display. It's a simple thing, but it's, as I said, the effect it has on people is worth more than just the gem encrusted nature of it alone, and the curiosity, the oddity. You'll draw people in. They'll always, it's like, did you hear about that goblin couple that has the gem encrusted muffin? No, it's an oddity, whatever. And it'll always draw them into you, and they're always just, the curiosity itself is worth so much.
And the two goblins look very interested. Patrice is like, we must have it. Bernard is not yet convinced, and Bernard says,
well, we'll think about it. We're going to keep browsing. Thank you, sir.
And they both wander off towards.
And Volkar just gives it and just lets them go.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
and
of course.
they're going to wander over towards Throg, and they're now looking at. That section of like a Bed Bath and Beyond that's just like all of those kitchen items you never use. Like, just like, why do we need that? Why do we need 8 different pairs of tongs that have different?
But you kind of want them at the same time.
But you kind of want them because you're like, maybe I will use that deluxe
Blender
food processor
accessories.
at some point. Blender accessories, yeah. And they're looking at it, and they currently have what looks like a like a food processor, but a magic one. So it's like made out of like I don't know a minotaur's like hide. It's weird. It's a whole thing. It's got the horns. It's just a
There's
whole thing.
literal human teeth in it.
It's disgustingly horrible, but yes, that's the grinder. Human teeth. But they're wandering towards, and they get nearer to Throg, and the man Bernard looks over at Throg and gives him a nice, big, wide, toothy grin. And I'm curious, would Throg continue to ignore them or attempt to help these customers?
Throg will kind of adjust his hat down a little bit to let himself give the sigh of disgust and eye roll that he wants to, and then as he straightens back up, he has his customer service face back on.
Oh.
And he
This
goes
is
over
in
to
his-
them as they set down the blender. He notices, madam, I see you've seen this fishbowl here.
Yes, I was just glancing at it.
The possum on her shoulder is getting really angry, but continue.
Quite lovely, is it not?
She
It's
nods.
true crystal.
Oh.
This is known as the Buccaneering Fishbowl. It is used for parties of a more adult nature.
Both of them snicker and kind of sound like school children in this moment.
Yes, indeed. When you're entertaining your more, let us say, attractive guests, and you're feeling perhaps a little more adventurous.
They're giggling. They're giggling like just the most just they're into what you're selling. They're into what you're selling. That's all I'm saying. It's getting weird at this point. Remember I said Bernard's dangly bits? I won't go into graphic detail, but he's getting excited. That's all I'm saying. So please continue.
Yes.
Disgusting.
Throg
I hate
is not
myself right now, by the way.
Throg is not making eye contact with the snake. He's only making eye contact with the goblins.
I hate myself.
Snake.
Who else watched the latest episode of The Boys?
I did as well. Yes, I know
Not
exactly
yet.
what you mean. Yes. It's exactly.
That's like
says-
episode 1 of the new season.
He says, so when your party gets to its climax,
I said the thing.
the participants can put a article of theirs, sometimes the keys to the house or to their carriage, in the fishbowl, and it will pair up.
Is this a swingers bowl? Did you fucking make a swingers bowl? Oh my god. I can't stay in character for this one. I'm like, where is he going with this? It's a
Love it.
fucking swingers bowl. Oh my god. Ah,
A magic swingers
a
bowl.
magic
Charlie.
swingers bowl. That is.
Mayleth may put it in a work order for one.
Oh my god, I can't. That's so good. Drew.
It's the 70s. There's even a fondue set
Oh
next
my-
to it
that goes
match.
with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bernard and Patrice are intrigued. How much?
For the set, it would be, say, 7,000 gold.
They don't
This
scoff
is-
at that for a moment. Not even a moment, but they look very intrigued. And they ask for a few moments to themselves to discuss. But they seem that they're giving buying signs right now. They're definitely giving buying signs. Yeah. That's true.
He walks back to the counter with his back towards the customers and just
So good. That's so good. And Naelith, you would hear these two goblins excitedly talking about the sex bowl that they might be buying. And they're pretty excited about it, but it's going to give you a chance to swoop in and perhaps steal these customers from your friend here, from your ally. But
Yeah.
please continue.
Okay. Nalith has been watching these interactions and paying close attention, while not paying close attention, of course. She will appear and approach respectfully and say, I couldn't help but notice, pardon my intrusion. It seems like you're discussing something very important.
Yes. Oh.
Hi. I'm one of the proprietors here. My name is Nalith.
Yeah.
Lithara. I am couldn't help but notice you came in originally for a mattress. Right?
And Bernard is like,
Yes. Yes, I did.
and Patrice
Not-
is like, but the bowl, but
Oh, excellent items. The muffin, the bowl, and
muffins?
what I have in offer is also very poignantly attached in that realm of entertainment and fun and all kinds of things. And she brings them to one of the other parts of the front here, and she finds a small, not a small, like about yay big by yay big cage, wood framing, hewn with iron wraps that keep it all together.
okay.
And she opens the top lid and pulls out a inanimate looking kitten.
Oh,
Yes.
the goblins look hungry.
This is unfortunately not food. It is it's edible, but it would cause you magical diarrhea. Apologies for such obscenities. But she pulls it out and she puts a hand on the back while holding it and concentrates and puts it down, and it turns into a full-grown Bernese mountain dog.
Oh,
Excellent coat, fluffy, just the softest thing you've ever seen and felt and smelt. This, well, unfortunately, is not a mattress, is a portable resting place. Should you go out into nature and need a place to lay down, take a nap, other such things as well. This here is the perfect pet. It is a golem-like creation that when you concentrate on it, is able to transform into any animal that you can think of. Now, these are not able to do harm or damage anything. They are perfectly loyal. They'll follow orders and they'll do whatever you want as long as you want without rest or anything like that. There are a few rules. You can't feed it past midnight, and you cannot get it wet past midnight.
the gremlin.
It's gremlin rules, yeah. Those are the only rules. And bodily fluids, of course, do not count as water.
Oh my god. So Patrice was very interested in the gem. They were both interested. They seemed to be in the fishbowl. The sex bowl, as it were. The Bacchanalian bowl, the fishbowl. It's so good. With matching fun, too. It's that, I love you. And Bernard is he goes,
Well, that is the reason we came in. I could sleep on that dog. It looks so fluffy.
and Patrice is like,
But the gems and the sex bowl.
and they seem like they're not exactly sure what they want to buy at this point, but they ask for some time. Go ahead. You have something else, Nalith. Go ahead, please.
Right. What prices did they give for the bowl and the gem?
The
gem muffin.
muffin was 3, and the bowl I think was 7.
I believe it was 7.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
we're at-
Now, if price is something you're worried about,
What do you take us for? We are goblins of means.
Oh, of course. I meant nothing by it.
Platinum is no object.
I like your thinking. You're a woman after my own heart, and of course, price is no mean. But you seem like excellent party guests and excellent people. So, with all due thought, I think I could part with it for 7,500 gold.
Oh, that's not bad. The goblins will ask for a bit of time to discuss what they'd like to buy.
Of
And
course.
with that, we're gonna pivot back. And as these customers continue to wander around the store and think of what they're doing, I want to give you guys a quick moment to either interact with yourselves, do anything else in the store that you'd find interesting, and then I will bring in the next customer as the day starts to dwindle on, as it were. But is there anything you guys would like to do as you await the next customer?
I think I'm about to be chastised by my fellow employee.
Nalith will go to the back room.
Okay.
She'll we have like small carts and things that can lift and go and move things to the front and the back. She'll just take one of those straight to the back, hang a left right in the corner, and she'll take out some keys and she'll just unlock the door and go inside. And it's a nice room. It's pretty bare, but it's a nice room. There's a large round table with a nice drapery over it and a pedestal at the far back end with a small box on it. And inside is the head of Quinten Hugh Generica.
And as you open the box, the head...
No. The box is open.
The box is open. Okay, as you walk in, the head blinks a few times. You see it. And
there's a book in front of him as
well. And the
well.
expression
that can move in by itself.
Turns to one of a little bit of frustration. And from the back, you hear, "Damn it, Snakelith! What did you turn me into? Look at me! I'm a monster! I'm a bloody monster!
You're not a monster, you're beautiful.
I have no body! I've read this book 7 times!
I'm gonna fix that.
It's a great book, but please give me some
Alice
of
in
the reading
Wonderland is
material.
an excellent book.
I don't want to go to the rabbit hole anymore. Don't follow the white rabbit. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh,
Listen, darling,
let me die.
as you are, you're
Please
beautiful.
let me die.
Why would you want to die? There's nothing
God.
left afterwards.
Oh, why do I smell muffins? Why is it so delicious? Why do I smell muffins? Oh, God.
We had muffins out there. We opened.
Oh,
We're doing very well.
my life is misery. Oh, help! Someone, please help me, please. Oh. And Quinten is
Sleep.
Quinten falls asleep. Sleep.
Yeah.
All right, and back up at the front,
Jesus
Throg
leaves kind of sad.
Yeah, back at the front, Throg and Volker. What are you guys up to at this moment?
So Volkar goes back to the front of the desk, and he's currently fending off one of the vampire seductresses because he is the tiefling.
Oh,
that keeps boning the other vampires.
I love it.
I forgot you weren't there for that.
I was not there for that. I love that. So there is a vampire seductress, and I want you to imagine like a scene from the movie Waiting, where like the other waitresses are flirting with the wait staff, etc. And she's just like leans over the counter, and she's like, "Hey, Volker, what you working on?" Just kind of like just Valley High girl, super generic. Like, just ridiculous. I'm not even going to do it because it's just too much. But she is just leaning into you right now. And it's just buxom, just laying it on thick. And how does Volker react in this moment?
So, Volker and, was it Kalith, correct?
Yeah.
Mine?
Yeah.
Nalith.
Nalith, sorry, with an N. Have a interesting history. That perhaps we'll go into, but
the vampire is Naya.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, but works for you now. But So he's sitting there. He's got this giant tome, think like Dwarven Book of Grudges, like weighs 60 pounds thing, and he's going through. It's a book on devil law, and he's trying to figure something out. So for his next trip to another plane, he knows some potential sellers of items, and devils are all about contracts. You got to outsmart. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to sit and get his work done, and then I just imagine now half the book is just breasts.
Yep, exactly right.
Now is not the time nor the place. As much as I would like to, it is grand opening. Perhaps if I sell enough items, you can reward me later. And then,
Obligatory. I can show you a true grand opening statement. Yeah, that happens.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. No, yep.
I'm assuming she probably makes some joke about being horny at some point. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, yes, tiefling
Absolutely.
jokes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard that one before.
Yep, absolutely. It's getting aggressive.
And he kind of just like he puts two hands on her shoulders and pushes her back just enough so that he can read the pages again. He's like, and I'm assuming that your mistress has been getting on to you again.
She keeps reading from the employee's handbook. I
Oh,
keep ignoring
fuck
her.
the employee's handbook.
Exactly. I think we should fuck on the employee's handbook. And I think we'll leave that there. I think that's a good moment. We're gonna leave that there for a second, and we're gonna go over to Throg. And Throg, I'd like you to make a perception check, please, because I want to see if you notice a particular thing or item or person in this area.
I will remind you, there's an invisibility alarm on the front door that has been permified.
Absolutely. 33. So imagine again, there's just these aisles and aisles, like a Lowe's or like a large department store, just aisles and aisles, all the way up to the rafters, 50 feet high, just items and items of all different manners, nothing practical that your employees actually want. But down the aisle, 10 aisles down, just past it, you see what you think is a raccoon with a metal claw. And you think you see it zip around the corner, and you think you see, and in fact, you're pretty sure you saw that he had a little tiny backpack. And in that tiny backpack, you're pretty sure you saw some paperwork sticking out of it. And he just zips down the aisle there. Zips away. What would you like to do about that?
I am going to I'm gonna make a stealth check.
I love it. You're also pretty sure that you saw that he was carrying a tiny flask in his flesh and bone hand, not the metal hand. Your stealth check. You make that stealth check. What would you like to do now, Cornelius?
He is going to head as stealthily as he can down the aisles, keeping his eye out for the little raccoon friend.
As you round the corner, you don't see the raccoon, but you hear a voice, and the voice says, "I am the Time Lord." And you hear what sounds like a bleep, and maybe like the tearing of reality, and then you hear the skittering of claws through the rafters, but you don't see where this raccoon is gone. You also smell what smells like really strong coffee in this moment as well. Really strong coffee. Yeah.
The damn raccoon's back again. Fine. He goes back to the counter and grabs a broom. And starts poking up into the rafters, like, "Get down, you little bastard! I told you stop coming here!"
You hear from the rafters, "You'll never take me alive!" And then you hear the little scampering of this raccoon. And as the scampering of the raccoon is happening, your third customer is going to enter in. And this man looks very finely appointed. Very finely appointed. He has gems that seem to be like built into his face. And he has what appears to be, oh, how do I put this? Well, he looks very important. He looks very well-to-do in this moment. He looks extremely well-to-do. And let me just drag this back here real quick, because for some reason the map got weird. All right, there we go. And I'm going to have anyone that wants to can make a knowledge history check would be the check to make.
That gem is truly outrageous.
Yeah, look at this guy. There he is. He's a guy. And he's carrying a book in his right hand that has a 7-pointed Sahedron symbol on it. 7-pointed Sahedron symbol. And Volcaire and Nalith, you both recognize this as none other than the Rune Lord of Greed, Karzug himself, who has come to your store looking for gods only knows what. And he carries in his hand a flaming staff And he walks in with an air of like, I own this place. But, and he looks and he just barely acknowledges Voltaire, barely acknowledges Throg. Nalith, you're coming back from the back, barely acknowledges you, and makes his way directly towards the Cauldron section of your store. The Cauldron section. And he is looking for a very particular cast iron cauldron. You hear him under his breath. I must gather a cauldron for one of my rune wells. But as he heads back to the cauldron section of your store, can you guess what happens? It says in stock soon under every section where these cauldrons are located. In stock soon, temporarily out of stock on the grand opening day, as is tradition. But who would first like to attempt to sell the Rune Lord of Greed himself an item of interest to this man? And what you would know about this man is that, well, he's a Rune Lord, and he's very powerful, and he has all of the money in the world. He was literally the richest of the Rune Lords. And, I mean, what could this man want? Apparently he wanted a cauldron of some sort, but unfortunately you don't have
I am unfortunately still chasing a magical ascended raccoon with a broom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So who would like to go first?
Oh, sorry, you can't see it. There you go. For my, you can see it. Okay. That's a
Nalith, Nalith, you
go for it.
see this man looking very perturbed by the empty cauldron area, Nalith. And I'd like you to approach as you see fit.
Yes.
What type
I will.
of store opens for its grand opening and has nothing, something, nothing? Damn it! Gods be damned!
I do see that you are unfortunately perturbed by our lack of inventory, and I do apologize, Roomlord.
What kind of establishment are you running? You open and you have items out of stock? I am great need of a large cauldron for one of my rune wells.
Of course, we will do everything in our power to acquire one for you post haste. And as a apology for not having anything you wish in stock, I will she will summon one of her assistants from the back. Let me take a look.
Living
here.
or unliving?
Unliving.
All right.
I think there are only unliving, right?
I don't know. I don't assume anyone's life or unlife.
Oh,
Yeah, why would we hire anyone when we can just like steal them from
It's
the
a great way to
ground?
keep down overhead. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's a great way to
exactly.
keep down overhead.
It's free. It's free labor. I mean,
Yes.
You said that the cleric was our
moral compass.
our moral compass. We are compassless.
Oh no!
Yes. Look,
You just hear the screaming from the back.
Let me die! Please let me die!
It's not a
soundproof.
There's
So
no way to live!
it's not a matter of morality. It's a matter of efficiency.
Ah,
It's why, like, that's why we
Yeah.
have the building is small on the outside, because we only have to pay the tax footprint for a building of that
it's
size.
true.
Exactly.
It's true. It's
Exactly.
True. Smart.
Extra dimensional building space does not count against your square
It
footage
does
on
not.
the paperwork.
That is not
does
part
not.
of the total square footage.
I'm going to summon my Grave Knight, Ranulph. Ranulph.
Clink, 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 clink. You have
As-
summoned me, mistress.
Kneel.
He kneels.
This is one of my personal servants. This is Ranulph, a knight of old who fell in battle and now is at my behest. His personage is yours to command while you are in the store, and should you need assistance elsewhere, he will be of use to you. Now, as for a cauldron, okay, so when you, out of character, when you say cauldron, would my fountain work?
Maybe. I don't know. It's worth a try.
Maybe. Okay. Can I make a spellcraft check?
You know what? Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna be like 55.
What is a cauldron when you get down to it?
What is it? Just a large basin to put these.
It's
in.
essentially a large metal bucket.
Exactly. You know what? You're pretty sure you could sell him. You're pretty sure you could sell him on the fountain. It's not exactly what he's looking for, but you're pretty sure you might be able to sell him on it.
My total ability to get a 55 is I'm too off. even if I did a nat 20.
I like where your mind's at.
Yeah. Okay. She'll say, well, okay, so well, as we do not have any cauldrons, obviously, we do have a few other options as well. I have in our procurement a water basin made of what material did he say he wanted?
Iron, I think, right?
Cast iron.
Cast
Cast
iron.
iron. Okay. This is, and I take him a few aisles over, and I show him the water basin of memory viewing.
This is the outdoor section, right? Like they've got
No.
plants
That
and
was the
stuff.
Fountain of Youth.
Oh, that's Fountain of Youth in the outdoor section. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. All right.
The water basin of memory viewing is with the cauldrons.
All right.
obviously.
Just to the side of the cauldrons. I like it.
Yes,
I like
yes.
it. Okay.
We have this here. Now it is enchanted already, but we can augment that if you wish. Whatever you wish, of course. This is a water basin that lets you view memories, and she will just tap it real quickly, and a memory will view of Nalith a long time ago. Just on a cliff overlooking a vast open plain with woods in the background, mountains in the farther view, just drinking from a nice mug and a nice blanket. A very lovely memory of a very beautiful place. This allows you to view memories of your own, of course.
The memories, are they completely accurate?
Of course.
How much for such an item?
A price, yes. 10,000 gold for a lord of your stature is but a penny. But
Coppers
to-
into a
yes,
wishing well.
Yes. Of
And the
course.
Rune Lord seems just as annoyed and like he owns the place as he did when he walked in. And he simply looks at you and says, I will consider it. And begins to wander down the aisle. If you know, like, in one of those Bed Bath & Beyond sections, they have that sections of as seen on TV. This one's going to be as seen in the wishing well. And like it will be a bunch of like random, just mostly useless items, but there's like a scrub daddy. There's like what's some of the other good like TV
Slap
ads?
chop.
There's a slap
Slap
chopper.
chop.
There's a slap chop there, a magical slap chop. That's good.
Gator grip,
Gator
there's
grip.
there's probably some like
As a small tidbit in green text here, as the Rune Lord walks off, she accidentally dips her finger back into the bowl quickly, but it's like, oh dear. And a memory pops up on the basin of her and Volkar in bed, and Trog walks in, or no, Quinten walks in, and
Oh.
and
Oh my.
she,
Oh my. Oh boy.
A while back.
Oh my god. That
and she's
is
like,
intense.
No, just like bashes.
And then wanders off. I like that. All right. So we got Slap Chop. We got the singing bass as well. I love that. And he wanders over. Who of the two that haven't gone yet, Throg or Volkare, would like to go? I think Volkare, because Throg's still chasing Rascal. What do you
It's
think?
just,
Throg is still chasing
Yeah.
Rascal.
From somewhere in the far back of the store, you hear, I have the time, Rascal! And Throg.
Come back here! I told you.
You can't
Not
catch
to
me!
come-
Whee! Cocaine coffee activate! And it's just screaming, just running around in the back, as it were. But Volkare, you see this Rune Lord looking at a magical slap chop. How would you like to
magical
proceed?
slap chop. He will not quite stealthily, but he will gently make his way over. Just not trying to make a lot of attention, not trying to like disrupt the man as he's perusing the
Just a
fine craftsmanship collectibles of as seen on TV products.
Which is the little
I-
button for the singing bass, and it's like, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my rune lord gal.
It's
Send me a
probably
fish
even
by
worse.
mail." Oh, it's
It's
terrible.
probably like the laser activated ones, and every time you walk by it,
Oh,
it does it.
yes!
Oh god, I hate those things.
They're so bad. But you walk up.
oh,
You walk
God.
up to him. Yes.
It doesn't activate on a nail though.
My name is Volkar Zakarian. How might I be of service to such a powerful and influential man such as yourself? What are you looking for or
Came
interested in?
here looking for a particular cast iron cauldron. It would appear that your inventory is lacking.
Yes, a shipment delay due to a storm. I'll make sure that that man's head goes on a spike. That's what you need, but what do you want? You have to buy leisurely items for yourself, curiosities and oddities to pass the time, or just things to tinker with. Is there a hobby you have of any interest? We have such fine items around here. You might not be able to find one thing, but
Make a diplomacy check, because if
Oh
you
boy,
ask
this is gonna
what
be
it
good.
is that you want, the Rune Lord, who has had this air of just like, I own this place, superiority, seems like he is startled for just a moment. Like you've struck perhaps a chord with him, and 26
Yeah,
is good.
26.
I like that. That's pretty good. And he stops, and his voice gets a little softer, a little bit less arrogant.
What do I want? No one has ever asked me that before.
well, most
What?
people are idiots.
I like the cut of your silver. He says, what does a man who has everything want?
He's going to let that hang in the air so that you can attempt to maybe sell him something. What does the man that has everything want?
Well, I imagine you, as a man with the ability to get anything you want, it's usually the oddities, the extra dimensional that are, things that you can't necessarily get on this plane, things that people who from other planes who think outside the box, or sometimes just make by accident. Things discovered by accident are often the most interesting. Well, not they don't have to be complicated or valuable. It's something new and interesting to deal with. Is always at least good for passing the time, or curiosity, a good laugh. It's being as a powerful man such as yourself. I mean, sometimes you just need the little things in life just to cheer you up a little bit. Now, I happen to have a worn coat that does not look. It's not made of a fine material, does not look super special, but it has many pockets inside, and on occasion, whenever the universe deems it appropriate, items appear in these pockets. It could be something simple, it could be a handful of gems, you never know. So it's always kind of an interesting thing of you just hang the jacket up and you wait to see what you'll get. Now, it's just a curiosity. It's something that's like, yeah, I'm bored with doing my work for the day. Maybe there's something in the pocket. It could just be something that, brings a smile to your face, or it could be something absolutely ridiculous that's just amusing in and of itself. Yes, like I said, it could be an apple, gems, possibly a weapon that has a great sword coming out of a pocket of a jacket. Was that possibly a severed phallus? Who knows? It could be anything.
And the
It's always a
Lord
surprise.
he seems intrigued. He seems intrigued. And he says,
What is this item called?
Well, we call it the trench coat of many things because, quite frankly, trying to classify it as a coat of, I don't know, illusion or enchantment, it's just the fact that it can be literally anything, because they are coming from some extra-dimensional space. We haven't been able to figure out where. Yeah, we've gotten everything from, like I said, apples, chickens. We had a dead rabbit come out one time. We've had rare, like a demon horns and, still moving eyeballs to, just literally a stack of gold coins came out. We were like, okay, it's always something interesting. It plays on that curiosity of, it's gambling without the gambling, really, when it comes down to it.
that hits the Rune Lord. And he asks the pointed question of the evening.
How much for such an item?
Such an item. I mean, it's a very unassuming thing, so it's easy to hide, and you don't ever have to worry about anybody trying to mess with it. If you're throwing some occasion, it's just a coat, whatever else. So it's very unassuming, but I admit to myself, I used it. I hosted a soiree, and it was quite the interesting thing of, people coming up, putting on a blindfold. It was that kind of party, if you know what I mean, and just reaching into the pockets and see what they got. And some people walked away with amazing things. Some people walked away with absolute garbage, but it was the talk of the party. Now, for such an item, because it does involve the extra dimensional, so possibilities are endless. Who knows what you could do with that? A man such as your wealth, I don't want to insult you by, presenting a bad price, but it's an item that I'm willing to part normally for maybe 20,000, but just as a favor for a man as powerful as yourself, I'd be willing to let it go for perhaps 16 or 17. Like I said, it's more of a curiosity. It's not super powerful, but it's, when you see a locked box, you're always like, I wonder what's inside. But it's like that every day.
Will consider it.
By all means, take your time.
And the Rune
There's plenty to
Lord
peruse.
wanders off, continuing to peruse. And as he wanders towards the back of the store, like at the back of the store where they have like the items that were returned, there's like small oddities of like this one maybe has like the one leg was slightly scratched. It's like all that stuff that's like a kind of in a bad spot, but not terrible. He's wandering back there.
Scratch and dent
Section, exactly. And he wanders back there, and even though it's the grand opening, you guys have a lot of things that were scratched and dented, by the way, back there. It's like half the store is scratched and dented.
That's shipping for you, right?
That's undead shippers. If you're talking, Zachary, you are muted.
Sorry. That's why George is now janitorial.
That is correct. George scratched like half your inventory. There's several cauldrons back there in the far back that you were buried by other things, but you don't know that they're there. And they're all scratched up and dinged and cracked. But he wanders back there, and we see Throg like underneath a couch. And Throg, as you're reaching towards this raccoon, it hisses at you and bites one of your fingers, and you recoil back from it. And as you stand up, you almost bump into this Rune Lord who's perusing. And he gives you this kind of long, aggressive look. But I will allow you to...
A long, aggressive look up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. What are you doing on the floor, half-orc?
Oh, Your Majesty.
You'll never take me alive!
There is a, raccoon that has a tendency to come and steal things from our shop. I believe it's ascended to a higher plane of being, and I don't know why it likes our place so much, but
it appears
seems
for a split
to.
second on the Rune Lord's shoulder. He doesn't seem to notice. He gives you the double birds, then disappears again from sight.
The creature is most vexing, your lord. My lord.
Well, you know what is incredibly vexing? Coming to a store's grand opening, and that store not having the inventory you're looking for. However, I believe I may have found something else of interest to peruse, or perhaps buy. At least my trip will not be a complete waste.
And what have you discovered, my lord?
An interesting trench coat, along with a pool that allows you to relive past memories. Both could provide both usefulness as well as a bit of humor.
Both are quite useful objects for the obvious reasons. I wonder, you're quite wealthy.
He scoffs at that.
Scoffs
at that. Quite wealthy.
There are no words in our language or any language that I've heard that can describe the level of wealthy that you are, my lord. That is what I meant to say. And I'm sure there is in your life lots of paperwork, people who want things from you, who want you to prove this and show them that. You have to keep the books. Am I correct?
He grimaces, and you just under his breath, you hear him whisper, "Politicians."
My lord, I may have just the thing for you. And he walks back to the counter and picks up the ledger that he had brought from upstairs.
Okay.
And he presents it. It's a nicely apportioned leather, very rich, lustrous leather, with just some, gold accents bordering around it. Nothing written on it except for the single word ledger on the top. Tell me what you think of this, my lord.
It is a simple and paltry book. What are you attempting to get at?
But inside is, as with most books, where it shines. This is a tome. It is known as the Ledger of Demonic Bureaucracy.
His eyebrow raises ever so slightly. Go on.
Upon its pages, you may write and place all of your important notes and figures, sums, licenses, stocks, bonds, all of your most important papers. And for you, it is a perfect keeper of all of the little bureaucratic niceties that you have to deal with. But when picked up by anyone but yourself, it shows a bewildering mash of random numbers and letters, but at the same time, they make a strange sense to the person reading them. They, while meaning nothing and saying nothing real, they convey the bureaucratic red tape that the person reading it is looking for.
And how much is an item of this nature?
An item of this nature. This article is one of the most dear that we possess in this shop. This item would not leave the door for less than 100,000 gold, my lord.
Price, once again, does not seem to bother him whatsoever. An intriguing item. I shall consider it. And then he wanders off. And as he wanders off, you see dark wings of what appears to be an incubus flying through the air. And as it's flying through the air, you see that it is chasing a also flying raccoon that is throwing small wads of paper at it. And as the small wads of paper hit the incubus, both of them seem to crash down to the ground where you hear a scuffle, and you're not sure who's winning, but there's definitely a scuffle happening. As you wander over, perhaps, and grab one of those pieces of paper, they have grape juice all over them. And yeah, it's your paperwork you're supposed to turn in to the tax master, the guy from Abadar. It's completely ruined, at least this page. So that's a thing.
I will
go
and collect all of the paper that I can find and then bring it to one of my magic user friends.
Prestidigitation is a thing.
Prestidigitation and mending.
Your incubus, you can feel that connection from the summoned incubus, and it's not winning the fight, surprisingly.
So just from the other side of the store, Throgby here, Mustapha-Lees, kick his ass! I'm going to turn his body into a fucking sock!
You'll never take me alive! I am the time raccoon!
That's the point, you little shit!
Damn it, it's so slippery! Why is it so fast? Oh god, it's throwing grapes at my eyes! They burn! Why do
Break
they
his
burn?
neck!
Why do they burn? Ah!
And you just hear...
Stop being a bitch! He doesn't want to be... He said we won't take him alive, and I don't intend to! Now go kill him!
Go to madness! Ah! Oh god, its claws are so sharp!
and you hear the incubus just screaming. You can't see any of it. You just hear this commotion from the back there as it's all going on. And yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing that that has transpired in the back there. And wow is all I can say is wow. Wow. But with that being said, we have another customer that is going to enter in to the store. And this couple enters in. It is a man and a woman. The woman, she appears to be of northern descent, very Viking-esque, tall, broad-shouldered looking woman, very muscular. Her partner or husband or whoever he is, perhaps even a retainer. He doesn't seem quite husbandly in this moment. He's a few paces behind her. She seems to be the woman in charge, and she walks in and makes a beeline towards the used clothing section. Also some new clothing, but they're kind of one of those resale sections that you have. People have donated clothing, clothing you've taken off some, monsters and enemies that you've slain in the past. Some of it bloodstained, some of it less so. But she makes her way over to that and appears to be looking at some of the nicer dresses that you have in this moment. But she is browsing the clothing, and the retainer, the man standing slightly behind her, is just watching as this all goes on and keeping an eye on her and everyone else inside the store at this point. If you remember, you have the two goblins, you have the Rune Lord Karzug, you have the man with the owl, and you now have this couple in here as well. But who would like to approach them and see what they're looking for?
I'll take a.
You want to take a crack at this one, this couple name?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I was going to say I would do it, but that's just my type of woman, big strong woman. So I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I'll let him go first, and then I'll do it properly.
I'll approach and say, "Hello, madam. My name is Naileth Lythara. I am the co-proprietress of this lovely furniture store. How may I be of assistance? I saw you browsing our furniture or our wares here."
My name is Queen Sonia of the North. I am looking for a particular item of clothing. I have a very important meeting with the
Of course,
king
my
of
lady.
Absalom. I need a pantsuit.
Pantsuit.
You do not have any
Cool.
pantsuits.
Of course. Does any of my followers wear pantsuits?
Absolutely not.
Fuck you. God damn it.
I will be completely candid. Precedent is set. Any item that your customers come in looking for, you do not have. You do not have,
Okay.
Unfortunately. That is the twist. And that is why you must attempt to sell them one of the other items that you created as a less than adequate replacement. But we will see what happens.
A pantsuit. I do regret to inform you that we unfortunately are unable to fulfill that request at this time. Clothing, unfortunately, was not high on our priority list for opening. While we are a furniture store mostly, we do have curios, we do have contraptions, we do have comforts. The clothing, however, was on its way and should have been here, but there was a slight pirating incident in the sea at sea, and there's nothing we've known. We lost a ship, unfortunately, but then a
Kingdom
separate
of Rodham.
shipment.
They were delayed in the Kingdom of Rodham, is where they were delayed.
Yeah, that I would have said that.
The Hilgary pirates
Yes.
raided the pantsuit ship.
It's stuck in customs.
Yes. But a separate shipment is on its way, and when it does arrive, all the pantsuits in the world can be yours, of course.
I need
if
the
that-
item for this evening.
Your
This
Majesty,
evening.
I warned you of the Hilgram pirates. Perhaps we should leave this store and seek the pantsuits elsewhere. She looks around, though, and the queen doesn't look like she wants to leave. Queen Sonia, as she introduces herself, doesn't appear that she wants to leave in this moment. She appears intrigued by the other items here, and I'm curious, Naileth, what would you like to attempt to sell her?
What is her disposition towards the her hand? What's the male version? of
Retainer?
maiden?
Her retainer.
Retainer. Male retainer.
Respect, but
Respect.
she's still the woman in charge.
Right.
It seems like she values his opinion, but at the end of the day, she's the one that's going to make the final decision.
With her behavior, mannerisms, and everything like that, what would be the appropriate response in my part to his buttling into our conversation?
He is an equal until he is not.
She will ignore the retainer and say, well, there are many of other accoutrements here that are very much magical, comforting. We have contraptions, we have comforts, we have all kinds of things. Now, you seem a lady of fine tastes, amazing tastes, as I can very much see. We do have quite a few items that can make a day in the life of a noble such as yourself. Sorry, she said queen, right?
She's the Queen of Kalsgard, from
Kalsgard.
the land of the Lenorm King. She is a Viking queen.
Viking queen. Okay, I would have said queen instead of noble.
right.
A queen such as yourself, very much better. We have. What's up?
The owl flies by name. I love it.
It's mechanical.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
What
Hold
movie is
on.
that from? You gotta remind me. What am I think? What movie is the mechanical owl from?
Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. I love it.
I'll leave it alone for now. We do have, and I'll bring her over to the kind of like the bigger items, like the not like big as in cost, but big as in like size.
Item. Okay.
Yeah. I'll take her to a stone statue of a nicer looking humanoid with white hair, gray hair, fro, very nice plain clothing.
Oh my god.
You
It
son of a
is-
bitch.
It is a bust of Rose, played by Betty White.
Oh
from
my
Golden Girls.
god.
I was gonna try and sell her the
Sentient version.
Oh! The
A
bust of
sentient
Betty White.
version.
Oh my god.
No, a full statue.
You statue of Betty White.
Yes.
I can't.
She got
do a
moved from
Betty
her
White-
place.
I can't do a Betty White impression.
I know. I'll do it for you. It's fine.
I love
It's a full movable version of herself.
it. Okay.
But it literally is Betty White, as she would have been if she was in character permanently. And
she
I
looks highly intrigued.
yes, I go up and I tap it to unlock it, and I say, "Hello, Rose. How are you today?" I never watched Golden Girls. I'm stuck. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Golden Girl Betty White responds with, "Doing fine. How are you?"
Oh, I'm doing great.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Would love for you to introduce yourself to the fine queen here.
Mhm.
Rose, this is the queen. Queen, I would have used her full name. Queen, this is the Rose.
And as you say that, she opens her mouth, but instead of her speaking, the opening of Golden Girls starts playing. By the way,
Thank you
for being a friend.
Travel down the road back.
Yeah, it just
Back
starts playing.
again.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's just
Your
the whole
heart
song plays.
is true.
Whole
Your
song plays.
pal and a
Confidant.
confidant.
It goes. The whole thing plays, and the queen seems very intrigued, and she simply asks, "What is this item called, and how much?"
This is the stone statue of a saint. This would go for a, we'll say, it's extra planar, as I've had conversations with Miss Rose here numerous times, and it seems it comes from a world not like our own. It's different. It's wild. It's imaginary. It's quite a thing to behold and to talk to. A very great peaceful for parties as well.
A great conversationalist and talking piece.
Yes.
Conversation piece, yes.
For this, it would be how is it? Are they on the level of like the guy with the owl or the Roomlord?
Make an assessment.
So she is a queen.
She's a queen. This would go for 35,000 gold.
She nods her head. An interesting piece. I will discuss it with my retainer. And get back
In
to you.
addition,
Oh.
and in addition, I will send out as many of my employees here that I can spare to go and look for a pantsuit for you.
That is not a bad offer. That's not a bad offer. That is a pretty good
That's-
offer.
No additional cost, of course.
No additional cost. I like it. I like it. I like it. She's intrigued. She's definitely intrigued, but she's going to discuss with her retainer. Retainer's not sold on the statue of Betty White. Also, funny story. Small little out of character moment. According to Reign of Winter, Chapter 5, Earth does exist in the Glorian timeline.
Yes,
So Betty White
yes.
could technically exist in the canon of
Isn't it like
Rise
80s
of the
though?
Pathfinder. I mean,
Is it-
maybe. I
Like
mean,
Rasputin was a part of it.
it was.
Eight-
It was.
yeah, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It could happen. She could exist at some point
Yeah,
in the
anyway.
history. I like it. But she's gonna
Next
start
Pathfinder character.
She's gonna wander away. And she's gonna wander over towards Volcaire. I'd like to hear from Volcaire in this moment. And
So,
she is...
I had it out of character. So we kind of came up with the Betty White statue together. So in the interest of for the store,
I love it.
you're like, I saw you have some. He's overheard this conversation. My queen, I heard you. You saw you might have had some interest in the wonderful Saint White statue. I'll let you in on a little secret, and this is a service that we wouldn't provide to just anybody, but.
Oh.
There are 3 other statues just like it. And the rumor has it from the man that I sourced that statue from that if one were to acquire the other 3 and put them all in a room together, they will all animate and begin to perform theatrical recreations of the Golden Girl show episodically, in the correct order, as almost an infinite source of entertainment for whoever wants to sit around and watch.
How intriguing. How
Now,
intriguing.
I've been trying to find the other 3 of these statues for quite some time, but if one were to purchase it and then I were to come across the other statues, of course you would be the first to be notified and given first pick on picking them up to complete the collection. If that is something Your Majesty might possibly be interested in, that is a service we can provide, free, of course. It's the correct thing to do for such a discerning customer with such fine taste.
So let me get this right. Are you guys tag teaming this customer?
Yes, I'm tag teaming the customer.
Oh my god. That is fantastic. They are literally tag teaming this customer. That is so good. That might be points for both of you. I'm keeping track of points, by the way.
We kind of came up with the Betty White. We kind of bounced it off. At first, it was
kinda
just gonna be
love
a bust, and I was like,
Mhm.
"What if it's a statue?" And then I
kinda
was
love
just, so it's like we came up with it as a group. So I think,
Yeah.
he's gonna help Wingman for the good of the store. He's
I
gonna
love
help
it.
Wingman with the
I
statue.
love it. I love it. And she goes, it's nice to see an establishment where its employees choose to work together for the betterment of their collective goals. I will continue to consider it. And thank you, young man.
Of course, my Majesty, or Your Majesty. If there's anything you need, don't be afraid to ask.
And then as she goes to walk, you hear this screech. As she steps on a raccoon's tail, she startles. The raccoon turns, hisses at her, runs off down another aisle. You watch
Is it
as
within range?
it is, but don't waste your spell. But as it runs
It
around
is,
the corner,
but it never stays.
but it never actually stays. But as it runs the corner, you see an incubus running around the corner, holding one of its wings, missing an eye, covered in purple, and you can smell very, very pungent grape smell from him. And he goes, "You son of a bitch, I'll kill you!" And then you just hear the raccoon chuckling to himself as he runs down the other aisle, and the incubus chases after him.
It'll be fine. I'll just summon him again. His eye will be back. It's okay.
Yeah, it'll be good. But Throg, she makes her way over towards where you've collected all the paperwork that fell out of the raccoon's pouch. And she's a tall, broad-shouldered Viking woman, but she does have a pleasant demeanor, and her retainer seems a little annoyed, a little impatient, but she is just glancing at a you know, like those areas in like a department store, not a department store, but like a Staples where they have all the different colored pencils. You have like all of the different colored pencils. There's like Greyhawk crayons. There's like Faerun stencils and all of these different other things. There's the Galorian I don't know, glue or something like
A
that.
Hell Knight coloring book.
Hell Knight coloring book, and she picks up like a little like Lord of the
Crin
Coloring books.
crayons.
Yeah, Crin crayons. She starts like flipping through it, like just absentmindedly, like she's just intrigued. And yeah, what would you like to try and sell her?
I would like to propose that we make 3M a canon company in this universe.
Done. Love it.
What I miss? What's canon now?
3M.
3M.
3M is a canon company in this universe.
So Throg will go up to her and say, "So I hear that my compatriots have showed you the statue of Saint Rose Nygod."
She nods.
I like
Very intriguing and curious curio. I am considering it, but it is my first time in the large city, so I'm weighing my options. Your Majesty, we should leave this place. It is filled with useless items by useless people. She looks over at the young man. She goes, Reginald, you are, as always, very annoying in this moment, but I appreciate your insight. Your Majesty, I simply wish for you not to waste your time. And it goes back and forth a little bit, but allows you to interject.
As he as he keeps talking, Throg gets more and more annoyed. The more the retainer talks, actually the taller Throg gets.
Oh my god, he's raging.
He's not quite raging. He's brooding a little bit. But he has fairly decent control over that. So, but he will, once he's about 8.5 feet tall, will look down at the gentleman and make a intimidation check. That perhaps the kind sir would like to shut his mouth and allow his mistress to shop and enjoy herself in our fine establishment. He says, growing taller, things getting darker around him, the tusks in his mouth like getting noticeably sharper.
I love it. I love it. And he will back off, and she will look at you. She will look at you like she's into it. I'm just gonna say it, Throg. She is into it right now. She's liking it. And she looks back at Reginald and she says, Reginald, why don't you go look at some of the, I don't care what you go look at, just fuck off. And he goes, yes, Your Majesty. And he will wander
Reginald.
away.
Go play with the toys while the adults speak.
And walk over and play with some Lincoln Logs. Stupid big mean half-orc and his stupid big face and his stupid whatever. But Voltaire, you had asked that you wanted to have a quick word with the retainer, and we're just gonna pause Throg for a second. Have a chance to we're gonna pivot over to Voltaire, who wanted to have a quick word with the retainer.
Yeah.
He walks over, and you've got one of those, you know, like in like one of those stores where they have like those little like low tables, like a big square table, they have little Lincoln Logs in there, or like
a little kid section.
Little kid section. He sits down on one of the little chairs and just starts like taking the little train up and through the little metal grates and just playing with his stupid half-orc and his stupid face and his stupid tusk, and thinks he's all big and scary, and his stupid queen and his stupid city and his stupid everything's stupid.
So Volgar will walk up behind him quietly and just tap him on the back of the head with the tail. It seems your mistress is quite displeased with you.
And he's just stupid half-orc and his stupid face, and I just want to go home. It's too hot here, and it's stupid. And he's just like acting like a tiny little like upset child in this moment. His
Get your shit together, and he slaps him with the tail.
Oh, thank you. I
think I needed that. And he stands up and, what the hell am I doing playing with these
A man of
toys?
your caliber and position should not be whining like a child. Now, she is displeased with you, and I'm assuming that you've already crossed your mind that maybe you can acquire something to get back in her favor, or at least put her in a better mood. Maybe some humor, something small, something interesting, not very expensive, but just a curiosity, and it would show her that you are apologizing in a way for, I don't know, being a whining bitch. Now, get it together and tell me what her curiosities are. Maybe we can find something together to get you back in her good graces.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy check.
That is an interesting angle.
I should have been angrier so I could use intimidate.
You didn't slap him.
I
You know
did
what?
slap him.
I'll let you make an intimidate check as well.
Okay, because my intimidate is 51.
Oh my god.
I get to use my intelligence for my intimidate score. And is he
I
human?
love it.
He's a humanoid, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
56.
That's crazy. Okay, so we're gonna play it this way. You have slapped him into being a man again, all right? And he's less scared of you. He's more like impressed. Like, like you see someone that's like more powerful, more like he's looking up to you as though you're like the big man on campus, right? Like you're scary, but he also wants to kind of be you. And he says, "You know what? You're right. I could get her something, a small token of my appreciation, and perhaps that would get me back in her good graces. She's always speaking about how she wishes things were warmer, and well, we are from the frozen north of the land of the Norm King. She's looking for something hot. I don't know if that makes sense."
Something hot, something that generates heat on its own. Let's think. So if you want to give me a minute, go back to him so I can
I
think of
will.
something.
Back to Throg, where she watches as he walks off, wanders, and she says, "I didn't catch your name."
Throg, as he's getting shorter, he steps up to her. So the perspective kind of stays the same, and he stops like almost chest to chest and looks down, and in a very soft but kind of commanding voice, he says, "You may call me Throg, my dear."
Almost sultry, as it were. I like that. That's wonderful. And she looks slightly flushed, but doesn't flinch an inch. She is standing with you toe to toe, chest to chest, nose to nose. And like you get the impression that like she's like breathing in the air around you deeply.
Mm-hmm.
But then she quickly breaks eye contact, turning away and setting down the corollary book that she had. And she says, "This is an interesting and curious shop that you have yourself here. What might you be able to interest me in?"
Oh, me? Well,
And you can't sell
he
yourself.
reaches. If anyone's going to be paying, it's going to be her.
Oh! Wow.
Throg reaches back behind him and pulls out a interesting looking device.
Oh my god. What is that?
This is a puzzle box, my lady.
She seems intrigued.
Oh God.
It's blending into the background, but
Yeah.
I like reminds that. Okay. It's like a box. It's a cube. Okay.
As you can see, it has different configurations. If you manage to open it correctly,
Yes. Atomic.
it
Absolutely.
has
Whatever you want.
such sights to show you.
And she will ask what it is and what does it do.
It is called a Le Marchand's cube.
Cube, an eyebrow raises her. She breathes a little heavily. And what is that?
This is the Lament configuration. It's a puzzle box and a gateway. and a way of calling a group of people. This is a very singular item. And while you are a woman of, and he looks her up and down, like really like sultrily again,
I like it.
discerning taste.
Mhm.
It would not be something for you. It would be something for perhaps an enemy.
And at the mention of enemy, she gets very intrigued. And if you recall, she was meeting with a certain king of Absalom today, a certain king of Absalom, and she says, without skipping a beat, how much?
50,000.
She nods and says, set it at the front counter for me. I'll consider it. Then she will wander away from you, but she's incredibly intrigued. And as we pivot back over to her retainer,
One thing
Oh, yes,
again,
yes,
this
yes.
is a group project.
This is a group project. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I respect that. But she's gonna wander back away from you, and we're gonna wander over towards Volcaire as well. Volcaire.
I've got something. So he's going to, hand on the shoulder, just walk the retainer over to the clothing stuff, and there's a fine fur coat, or it's a long cloak or cloak, fur around the top. It's white, it's nice, it's got nice. It's not super fancy, but it might appeal to someone who prefers function over form.
Okay.
So it's well made, but it's not what you would call fancy. There's no filigree, whatever. But now this coat, it's very unassuming, but if you pull on this string here, and he pulls on it, and metal rods shoot out of the coat into the ground, turning it into almost like a tent-like thing.
Okay.
And then if you light a small fire inside of it, it turns into a sauna for your neck down. Now, you said she was interested in something to keep her warm and that sort of thing. People from the north, I've been up north, and I understand the appeal of the sauna, and then a hot, some sort of like hot bath, and then the cold water, and then back. It's very good for the circulation, I've been told. So something like this might be of interest to your mistress. It's simple, but it's also functional. I mean, the cloak coat combination itself will keep her warm, but on those particular nights after maybe a long march or some travel, where maybe the pains of travel, riding in a carriage or on horseback, or whatnot, it's very good for the muscles, very relaxing, and it comes in at a very reasonable price. If that's something you think she might be interested in, it would definitely, I think, would get you back in her good graces.
What is it called, and how much?
Well, let's see, how much? That is a good question. It's a very rare item that only certain people from certain locales are interested in. So, while I call it, the Cloak of Relaxation, it's a very simple thing. Totally not made up on the spot.
Cloak of Arnar.
Yeah, Cloak of Arnar. It's a rest of relaxation. But I think I could let it go for a fair price of somewhere around maybe, let's say 8, or perhaps for a discerning gentleman like yourself, just as a favor from me to you, I could let it go for maybe closer to 7.
And he looks very, very, the Cloak of Leisure. I like that, Drew.
A Cloak of Leisure. Oh, yeah, we'll take the Cloak of Leisure. That's a good one.
And he looks very intrigued. And he says, set it at the front counter for me, please.
Well, I will gift wrap it for free.
And he will meander away, but he seems very intrigued by that. And as he wanders off, and you now have a smattering of customers inside your large store. We've got a Rune Lord, a queen from the Land of the Norm Kings. You've got a retainer. The goblin couple are still around looking. You've got the man with the owl, and the bell of the door, of the front door, rings again. You have it's busy in here. It's getting busy. It's almost getting crowded. But from the back room, you hear what sounds like an incubus being desummoned, and you hear just a cackling that only a raccoon could do. and he continues to scurry around. You hear a couple of like what sounds like plates crashing off of a shelf onto the floor, and then you hear George, oh, clean time. I mean, and then he just runs off quickly into the back, starts cleaning. But entering in through the front entrance is a just pretty moderately dressed looking half elf. And in his right hand, he's got a cast iron skillet. It's like on his shoulder, and he's got a bow on his back, and he's just kind of like twirls the cast iron and then hooks it on a little thing on his hip, and he looks around and kind of rubs his hands together and then makes a beeline towards we're gonna stick with Volcare actually. So he makes a beeline. Hey there, name's Birch. I'm in the process of opening a new restaurant here in town, and it appears that there was some sort of shipment delay on a couple of items that didn't arrive. I'm actually looking for some. Actually, it's a pretty cool restaurant. It's called BBB's. Birch's. It's a good restaurant. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous because we're opening tomorrow, and we just need some things. It's Birch's barbecue and. It's Blackstone Barbecue, Birch's BBB's, Birch's Blackstone Barbecue. It's alliteration, as it were, but I need some plates for the restaurant because the plates didn't arrive, and I was just hoping that and from the back area you hear more glassware and perhaps plates breaking and the raccoon cackling as he pushes plates off the shelf. Birch doesn't seem to realize that this is happening, but he goes, right, so I was hoping that, it's a bit last minute, but I was hoping that, you could help me save me grand opening for Birch's Blackstone Barbecue. That would be real nice.
Yes. So, some fine plates. Well, we had some china, but unfortunately a customer came in and seemed to have taken it. It's very, very fancy, very, very destructive to our inventory, as it were.
Right.
But
Pesky little rodents, aren't they?
is there anything else perhaps you might need or looking for? Some type of I've got an ever-filling crystal, ever-filling bottle that usually produces crystal clean water.
Yep, got me one of those. Don't need that.
You got one of those. Sometimes this one fills with blood, but it's whatever.
Wait, what?
Let's see what else we got. Yeah, it's a weird thing. There's like a 1 in 10 chance it will fill with blood of some random creature. I don't know where it comes from, but it's an oddity. It's something small.
That seems completely useless. If I might.
Yeah, but yes, but you can just pour it out and then it cleans itself and fills again. So it's just an oddity.
No,
it's just an inconvenience.
For plates.
Just looking for plates. Let's see. I've got a.
Right.
Let's see. Nailith, are you? I have a fine gentleman here that's looking for some fine plates and so forth. How is it with that customer that decided to wipe out our entire stock of plates and such?
Yes. The rodent lord, yes, he had a very large order for plates. Him, his whole family, his 10 uncles, his 10 cousins. The order's been fulfilled, and
the children. What?
All the children have were there, and the plates were taken elsewhere. They were already shipped and received, unfortunately.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm already here. Might as well do a little shopping.
If you are looking for assistance in the restaurants, I do have a particular item.
All right.
Of use. And she, luckily it's right there. So she just pulls out a small chest and unlocks it, opens it, and pulls out a small like metal cube.
All right.
And I tap it twice, and it's a small, half the size of a halfling.
Okay. Half a halfling.
It's a small metallic robot.
Oh, guy. Okay. All right.
Works. Nice looking. Vest, dress shirt, dress pants.
Right.
Looks like a waiter. It says this is a cleaning golem. It can clean a room per day, and it will clean it as good as any professional would. Right. The room of size is an esoteric thing. It doesn't matter. It just does one room. So your you could place it in your.
I could place it not in the main room, or
the main
does
room.
It do kitchen cleaning? Because
it can do kitchen cleaning. It can do any room you wish.
Do you have a pair of them, perhaps?
I have the one, unfortunately, but I can craft you a second one.
That's so interesting.
I could have that ready in about a week.
Hmm. Well, I'll
I have
keep
a-
browsing then. Looking around. Oh, how much is it for the cleaning golem?
For the cleaning roll,
This man does not appear to be a man of means.
yeah, we'll go with 1,000 gold.
Well, it's a bit steep, but I'll consider it. It is useful, and I could fire that one man that I just hired. What was his name again? Something Shortlork Halfling. Anyway, I digress. All right, well, right. Well, I'll just keep looking around, and
If you're looking for assistance in the kitchen,
Right.
I do have some janitorial staff that could assist as well. In the meantime, while you find another employee and recuperate from losing an employee.
Right. Perhaps. We'll think about it. Right. Well, I'm going to go and walk away from you all because you seem a bit weird. But carry on. And thanks for the weirdly help with this. Yeah. All right. And then he just wanders off. And he's gonna run into. Go ahead. Volker.
To say, as he wanders off, Volker goes, "Time for refreshment." Snaps his fingers, and just plates start floating out from the side with all sorts of like little, like they're just unseen servants just holding plates, just
I love
little
it.
sandwiches,
Love it.
little
Love
like
it.
drinks, wine, spirits, whatever,
It's
pigs
like
in a
one
blanket.
thing to
We're-
a plate.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
just-
give Throg one chance to interact with Birch Basad, to see if you want to sell him something, because he's gonna run into you as you're running back. Maybe you were chasing the raccoon, maybe not, but you run into Birch. He is looking at. He's looking at those signs that you can buy at a store that say like really dumb stuff, like like your parents have at their house, or was it your aunt?
My sister-in-law.
Your sister-in-law has at her
Sister-in-law.
house, like stuff like that, right? Like those type of things, like just dumb stuff. Like I don't know, I can't even think of anything because they're all so dumb. But like the sign section, and he's looking at a sign. Go ahead, please.
Like shenanigans.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love. He's looking at
Yeah,
a
that kind
sign
of
that says live, laugh, love, but the sign on it is 3 axes that have live, laugh, love carved into them, but it's like a painting of that. That's what we see. And he's like looking at it. He's just kind of like rubbing his chin as Throg walks up to him.
Ah, I see you're enjoying the artwork, my good man.
It's a bit of an interesting painting. It seems to be a bit of a juxtaposition, though. It's live, laugh, love, but the axes. Maybe it's like I don't know. It seems like it's a comment on reality. You've got to live and laugh and love, but you also got to be a fighter to love. Love that you don't fight for isn't it really worth it then? And he just starts to go on to this like long tangent about like the meaning of life and love. Yeah.
Throg pays very fake attention. When he starts winding down, he says, we also have another painting somewhat similar to that. It says "Eat shit, die."
Right. That seems a bit on the nose then.
It is.
Aggressive.
It's ironic, as the youth today say.
Man, them Jim's ears crazy.
Indeed. I believe I heard one of them say it was based.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
I don't know if anyone does.
I don't think
don't.
they do.
No cap. All right.
We're hit.
This is poggers. All right.
Oh God! Oh, you made it worse. You made it worse.
Woo! All
I'll
right.
walk away.
All right. That's fine. Game over. GG, guys.
All right.
Um,
All right, boomers.
Oh my lord. All right. Yeah. So Birch is intrigued by this "Eat Shit and Die" poster that you have. I'm assuming it's magical as well, but please.
No, it's
Just a
fairly
poster?
mundane.
Just a poster.
It's a woodcut.
It's a woodcut. Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
You know what? He's intrigued, Throg, by the woodcut. How much? How much for the woodcut?
It is 5 gold.
As much as the woodcut could cut wood.
Good what? You know what?
Oh, damn it! I missed it.
That's
Oh,
reasonable. And
that is the daddest
you know
thing I
what?
could have said.
I'll consider it. Gonna keep browsing a bit and wander off. And at this point, you opened a shop at 9. It's been about 3-ish hours that all this stuff is going on.
Nalith, you went looking for the raccoon to try to find him. Cannot find him. Every time you turn a corner, you think he's there. He's gone. You're pretty sure he might be, I don't know, teleporting. You're not sure how. Because he just looks like a raccoon with a backpack, a small little belt that has a little like little thing on it. You keep
just trying to
finding
talk.
grapes. You keep
Okay.
finding grapes. You find little tiny purple and green and red grapes everywhere. Some crushed, some not. And he's just wandering around. But as all of this is going on, it's about lunchtime. And you know what? The store is set up to automatically, like, you have like maybe some like mechanical wait staff, but it gives you all a quick break where you can go to the back room, sit down, and have a quick lunch break. And I'd like you all to just take a quick moment to have a quick lunch break right now and just relax and talk about maybe what's been going on. You still got some customers, but you've got some of your complimentary people that can help. You know, you see George and Fred, and they're just standing next to customers like, oh, how much is this? They're like, oh, really? And where did you get it from? Oh, wow, that's fantastic. And there's a smattering of other people that we have interacted with. I mean, the store is getting pretty full. You've probably got like 40, 50 people in the store right now. It's looking pretty good. You've made a couple of like smaller sales here and there and whatnot, but it's off to a good start. From the back room, you can just hear this very quiet, muffled, "Let me die!" It's very quiet, just almost inaudible. Just, oh God, this is horrible. This existence. I don't want to go read this book again. Oh my God.
It's switch the book.
It's horrific. Oh God, I hate this book. It's so long. Why would you give me the Bible? It's just screaming. Just screaming. It's the stories drag on. Who married who? Oh God! Just terrible. It's terrible, and that's not a comment, by the way, on anybody that worships any religion. I'm just making a joke. All right, I'm just making a joke. But with that being said, oh my God, it's so long. But anyway, I digress. And you guys are in the break room. You're having a quick little break, and as you're having this quick little break, I'm curious. What is in each of your lunch boxes for your break during the workday? I'd like to start with Nalith. What is Nalith eating on her lunch break?
Would you like to peruse my character sheet, sir?
No. I'd like you to tell me what you're eating on your lunch break.
Nothing.
Nothing. Air.
She's
So
undead.
Nalith opens her lunchbox, and inside is just nothing. It's nothing. But you know what? Maybe you just want to feel like you're involved. Maybe you pantomime. Maybe you have a glass of wine. I don't know what you're into.
It's
but
blood.
You know what? Here's what we're gonna say. And I'm gonna embellish a little bit. You open it up, and inside is a Ziploc bag of blood. All right? A Ziploc bag of blood. That's what you have. I don't know why it's a Ziploc bag, but that's what you get. And you're just kind of like, it's very unladylike, but that's what you're doing. All right. And then what about Volcare? Volcare, what is in your lunchbox during your lunch break?
So Volcare is sitting there, and he taps a ring on his finger, and then proceeds to burp, and it smells like ribs because he is wearing a ring of sustenance. But he opens up his lunchbox, and inside is a humidor full of cigars.
Oh, wonderful.
And he takes it out, cuts
Wonderful.
it, lights it, and then just leans back, and then looks at me. It's like, I'm gonna fuck that vampire later, right?
I will drain your body of all blood, dear.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I mean,
He just like gives her the
Okay.
eyes,
I could.
just like,
Oh my God, would
you're free to join.
Oh my God, would you two just fuck again and get it over with?
Again today?
This
I don't
chapter
know,
with
you're-
the Jesus dude's pretty good. And then just keeps going on. Yeah.
So he's just kicking back, he's just leather boots on the tabletop, just smoking a cigar. Smells
Is it-
like ribs.
Is it normal to want to kill them all?
No, I think it's perfectly reasonable. I hate the public. I don't know why I'm doing this job. Really, I should have just kept teaching people how to blow shut up and summon demons and stuff. But then it's like you get a cult following. It's a whole thing.
I mean, the cult following's not that bad. I'm having a wonderful time.
Yeah, but they're all dead. They're not living. That's the difference. It's just
George is a wonderful person, and he is an excellent carpenter.
All right.
George is a
what do you mean?
fucking idiot and damaged half of our furniture.
So from the back room
He's
door
clumsy.
into the break room, you see a group of undead Japanese schoolgirls with pieces of paper banging on the glass trying to get Nayleth's autograph. That's what you see. Yeah. You talk about a cult following. There you go. Ah! Ah! They're just like screaming. Ah! Just screaming undead.
What did we put
flying.
glass in here?
I don't know. I don't know.
We're inside.
I don't know.
We're inside. I'm just saying this out.
Oh my god. That's so good. So good. So good. Awesome. So you guys have your little lunch break, and then Throg, what is in your lunchbox? What is your little lunchbox?
He is having a couple of some finger sandwiches, a scone, and some digestive biscuits.
Yum. Delicious.
And a nice hot pot of tea with lemon.
Very nice. Very
Affirm
nice.
some of my blood.
Very
He's a barbarian. So I don't know.
He might be into
No.
that. I don't know.
He's not-
Alcar
he's
will
not-
offer Throg a cigar if he wants to partake.
Hmm.
And they're
He
nice.
looks-
They're nice. They're like these aren't even from this plane. He got these from Shadow Absalom. Like they're nice. The smoke is purple.
Oh, this is fine. And he he takes it, pokes it on one of his tusks, and then lights it.
Do you ever know me to buy the cheap stuff, Throg?
No, you've always enjoyed the finer things.
Well, I'm a man of good taste. What can I say? He looks over and they lift and just gives her a wink.
I love it.
Rolls her eyes.
I must say, all those years adventuring, I did miss the finer things.
Well, I mean, we always offer them to you, but you always turning them down in favor of living a simple existence, which is fine. A man of principle existence, I understand that, but I just
Yes, well, it was a bit cheap ale and cheaper whores. You know, it was a life, and it was a good life. Now
You do
I'm
remember when Quinten said you probably have a super STD, right?
well, I did.
Like,
There
we-
are you
we
can
went-
pay to have those removed.
We talked to a high priestess of Ayun, and she said, I don't know what the fuck this is. You remember that, right?
Yes, you don't go to the good priestesses for that kind of healing.
Fine. I don't understand it, darling. I don't.
look. I've only ever slept with the nice, expensive ones that are all clean and pretty, and I have no experience of that. So
Well, you know, as I said many times, and you two seem to refuse to believe, that life is done for me now.
Oh, I'm not insulting. I'm just saying, at the time, you were living a certain life, and it's just now you've come back to appreciating the finer things. But they were always there. You just chose not to partake.
Yes,
Is
I
what I'm saying.
did. I mean, was it the smartest idea for me to run about in that loincloth with that stupid stick?
Look, we gave you plenty of magical assistance. You managed to get a lot done with that giant stick. I mean, sometimes, you know, what's that human quote? Speak softly, carry a big stick. I mean, you kind of took it literally, but you know, it's,
well,
worked pretty
I
well.
mostly just yelled and said, "Throg smash!"
Yes, well, when you make a log, plus when you make a log, you know, you enchant it with magical power and you know everything else. It turns into quite the lethal weapon. It is a giant hunk of wood.
Remember that time
Yes,
when we were
and
fighting?
that's what all the cheap prostitutes used to say.
Do you remember, Throg, the time that me and Volker were fucking around with the enlarge spell, and we made you? I think it was like 4 stories tall. Was
I
it?
think it was closer to 5.5, and
That was fun.
I think that was the time that we had that little
That was
errand
the
boy,
time I
and he
fucked the
stepped on.
tunnel, isn't it?
Oh god! Oh my
Don't-
god!
I just forgot that memory.
Yes. Oh, I was quite droll.
Oh, I
Not
need to
standing
go.
next to the pool of remembrance.
I think I'm going to need. I think I need to witness a massacre to get that thought out of my head.
Yes. But on the
There was quite the flood afterwards.
Oh.
As you are remembering the flood, appearing on the table in the center of your meal is a particular raccoon. He is sitting there. You don't know how long he's been sitting there. You realize that he may have been there for a while, and he's just slowly taking one grape after another and putting it in his mouth. Just...
I hand him one of the cigars.
He takes it without looking at you, flicks his finger that is metallic, and it lights up, and he starts smoking it.
What would you like?
Throg reaches over and hands him a biscuit.
He takes the biscuit, starts eating it, smoking at the same time.
Volkar goes to say
Throg-
something, but then
Then
he's like,
Throg holds out his hand.
I've seen some shit, man. But that description of Throg fucking a tunnel?
Yes, they were good days.
Look, you weren't there, man. You don't know.
The raccoon
That was
twitches for a
it
second.
was a sight.
He seems to blink in and out of existence, as though he's there for a moment, then not. And then he speaks again, and he says, "There's a guy in golden-clad armor looking for you at the front entrance. Seems important." And then he disappears. The cigar drops to the table, a grape drops to the table, and the muffin is gone. But the raccoon is gone.
Who is he talking to?
All three of you.
He was just sitting on the table.
Okay.
All right, gold man in golden armor. All right, bets on it being a paladin.
It's always
Ooh.
paladin.
It's always
I don't-
a fucking paladin.
I've always wondered what would happen if I raised a paladin.
You know, I came up with a great business ideas. What we should do is we should sell armor for paladins, but we just make them sign a piece of paper that upon their death we get it back, because then we could just resell it an infinite amount of times. Because paladins are idiots and they're always getting themselves killed.
Make a good
I mean,
point.
they are loved by their gods, and if they die and they come back and they don't have the armor, it's going to be a whole issue of possession laws, and I don't know. I would prefer the sword, to be honest.
Well, you know, it's just an idea. It's a working
It's a
project.
wonderful idea.
We'll work out the
workshop
details.
it. Yes,
We'll workshop it. Yes.
We could do
well then-
a special event where we get a big Throg again, but not for fucking. For like, maybe we could have him do like carnival things. Like we can make him big, and he can like carry people around Absalom.
We'll think about it. And Throg turns around and walks out to the floor.
And as he walks out, towards the
He's
floor,
nibbling on a scone as he
love
does.
that. As you walk out towards the floor, we cut to an exterior shot of the Roomlords store. We see that the inflatable Quinten is still doing its thing, and there's a bunch of children throwing rocks at it and laughing. And it looks like the face on it was happy, but now it's frowning this afternoon. It's about 1, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon at this point, and it's frowning, and just little kids are throwing rocks at the Quinten. And
And this is one of my undead, right?
absolutely inside of
Oh,
the
yeah.
flaming, it's just
I love it.
just looks sad and just doing its thing. But as we zoom in, we see through the front door again, we see a man dressed in golden resplendent full plate. He has a giant key, a holy symbol made of gold of Abadar, and this is none other than the taxmaster, come to collect your final tax forms. And through a series of misfortunate events, it appears that you haven't had time to finalize them. And this man looks like he is a no-nonsense, no wasted time, straight to business looking gentleman. And as you approach Throg, and your two friends approach as well, he says, "Where's the paperwork?"
Oh, give me 1 second.
I've been
sir.
waiting here
Let
for
me-
15 minutes.
Let me. Yes, we were on our lunch break.
On opening day, you have a lunch break. What kind of establishment is this?
One that
Only
follows the rules.
the finest, sir. And Throg will go first. He goes over and walks by the Rune Lord and says, "Watch this."
The Rune Lord is currently still playing with the slap chop, and he seems very amused by it. Just
And he pulls out the ledger.
oh, all right, go on.
I believe in here is everything. Everything should be in order within here, good sir.
And the gentleman opens up the ledger, and those that are viewing the ledger would watch as all of these numbers and symbols and graphs and charts, spreadsheets all start to appear, but it looks like complete and utter gibberish, complete and utter garbage. It seems like it is complete madness. But he looks at it, he flips through it, he flips through it, he flips through it.
Well, isn't that something? I'd expected you all to not have your affairs in order, but it appears you do. Make sure you have a copy of this sent to my establishment, the Temple of Absalom.
We shall indeed, Your Holiness.
And the man looks at you, looks at everything, and says,
And what exactly are you selling here?
he looks like he might want to buy something. So who wants to try to sell the High Priest of Abadar an item, the Taxmaster himself?
Well, sir, this is a furniture curiosity shop. We sell a little bit of everything. Let's see. Over here, I have this cloak. This is a magical cloak, sir.
He looks unamused, but will listen.
This cloak is known as the Cloak of Empty Pockets.
Go on.
Anything that is put in the pockets of this cloak is not.
The man seems confused, but also intrigued.
Explain what you mean.
Well, here, put the cloak on, sir.
And he does so. To answer your question, Nalith, you have sold a smattering of mundane items, but we're only focusing on the important characters. You've managed to make other small sales, but what I'm going to do is I'm tallying in the background what folks are buying and what they're going to be buying, and then I'm going to announce who technically sold the most items at the end of the session. All right, who is the winner, as it were, of this? Because you're all winning together. You all own the store together, but who is the best salesperson on the floor day one is what we're going to go with, all right? But you were saying, Throg, please.
So he puts the cloak on him, and it looks very nice against his armor. It's a nice
Yes,
kind of steel gray.
Right.
Yes. Now, and he takes the bit of scone that he had left. Now, take this, sir. Put it in the pocket.
And he does so.
Now, check the pocket.
He does
And as he
so.
puts his hand in the pocket, there's nothing there.
Isn't that curious? Where do the items go?
What items?
And he kind of smiles and gets a little bit of a mischievous look on his face.
How much for this cloak?
This cloak? This cloak is worth, I would say, 250 gold.
He looks very intrigued by that.
Would you mind holding it at the counter for me?
Oh, I could indeed, sir.
And then he will continue to meander around
Immaculate
the store.
taste.
So the Runelord Karzug, who's still by that as seen on the wishing well, has now pivoted over to those, you know, that what the hell was it? Was that the guy that had like the OxyClean, like
Billy Mays.
Billy Mays,
Mays.
yeah.
Billy Mays here.
He's got a box of OxyClean, and he's like opened it, and you look down, you can see there's a little grape stain on it, and he's just like taking it and trying to spot it and seeing if it works. And that's where he's at. But Nalith, I'd like to see what you'd like to try and sell to the Taxmaster himself. What would you like to attempt to sell to this fine gentleman?
Right.
Delvis von Geralt, the Taxmaster of
Delvis.
Avalon.
Okay. Side question. Have I officially sold any of my ticket items?
Officially, no. But I'm
No.
going to let you know who sold what. I'm keeping track of everything in the background. Nothing has officially been sold yet, but there are folks that have interest in particular
Okay.
items. So you don't want to
Okay.
try to resell anything that you've already presented. That's
Right.
the thing.
That's what I
Yes.
would like to know.
Yep, yep.
What items are those?
Yes. So you had the wishing well, you had the bust of Betty White, and then I believe your first item was what was your first item?
I had the water basin of memory
Water basin
viewing.
of
I had
memory.
the Betty White statue.
Betty
I
White
had the
statue.
fountain of youth.
Yep.
The cleaning golem and the perfect pet.
And the perfect what? Perfect pet. That's the one.
Pet.
Yes,
Yeah,
pet.
yeah.
Okay.
The
So that's-
Bernice.
yes.
mountain dog,
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect. So, what would you like to try and sell now?
I'll go up to the tax lord and say, "Hello there. Nice to introduce me. Nice to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine.
Of course. Now, as a taxman, I assume that you have a reverence for the order and cleanliness of not only your duties, but your office, your abode, things like that, right? Me myself, I do sometimes have issues keeping up with these things, even with all the help we have and things like that. There are certain things in certain specific ways that we don't want touched, or we want it put in a certain way. I do have a couple of items that could help you with this.
And he looks intrigued.
And I'll take him back to the main counter, and I'll pull out the small cleaning golem again, open the chest, and make him apparate or come to life. And I'll show it to him. This here is the small cleaning golem. It can clean a room per day, and that's about all it has for charge-wise. It just cleans the room once per day.
You
goes
see in this
back
moment, Nailith, Birch was walking towards the golem that you appear to be trying to sell to the taxmaster, and he had his coin purse out, and he looks really disappointed in this moment. But I'd like you to continue your scene.
Okay. Do I see this and understand this?
You do understand this.
I do. But it seems that I might have had a buyer for this already. Now, Birch, sir, hello.
Hello. I was
Come-
actually going to purchase this item, but it looks like you found another buyer for it. So, hey,
Actually,
Grog, how much for that sign again? And he ignores you, Nailith, and he wanders off. Yeah, wanders off. He wanders off. He does. He was interested. But it looks like he's gonna go with the eat shit and die carving. That's where he's at. But hey, the man.
Fireball in the back of my head.
You see a tiny red bead in your hand, like, you son of a bitch.
How much for this cleaning golem? Excuse me. How much for this cleaning golem?
How much did I tell Birch? I think I was
You said 1,000.
1,000. Okay. For this small golem, about 1,000 gold.
And he looks very intrigued, but is going to continue shopping, allowing none other than Volcare an attempt to sell something to this fine gentleman.
All right.
I'll make my way back to the Roomlord as well
Perfect.
once I get a chance.
Volcare.
Yeah, he's perusing. He's talk to Nailith, everything else. Is like, yes. Anything you might be interested in? Any hobbies you might have? Personal comfort needs. I mean, a man like you spends a lot of time moving around.
I know
certainly,
a man such as myself dressed in such resplendent armor. This may come as a surprise to you, but I have a bit of an affinity for woodworking, and would be interested in a new set of woodworking tools.
You don't have those, by the way. You do not have those at all.
I do. Unfortunately, I think that a very curious incident happened, and that shipment was delayed. Something about druids attacking a caravan or something. They can, the hippies. You know how they are. Might you have any interest in? Tree huggers? Might you have any interest in, say, photography or something of that ilk?
He's intrigued. He doesn't know what photography is, but he's intrigued by what it means.
Photography is is a more recent alchemical invention where it is manages to capture a still image of a person or persons in a displayable format that you can then take, and after some chemical processes, you can display it and have a it's almost like artwork, but it's done via alchemy and mechanical means. Now, I happen to have a set that performs this, but it also has a peculiar function in that it can see through. I don't want to say reality, but it can see through time and space and see the spirits of those that have passed before us. It is a little creepy, but it's also kind of interesting because every image.
Camera?
It is a ghost camera.
I love it.
But every image, it shows people from all the past eras that might have lived in that area, and you're always going to get something different and interesting.
And he asks, what is it called and how much?
It's called the Flash of the Spirit.
The Flash
because
of the Spirit.
in the Flash, it captures spirits. That is my amazing creative name.
Boop.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And how much is it?
For something such as this, I mean, it's not just this. It also comes with it comes with the requisite alchemical ingredients in order to process the metal plates it uses, for these images. Usually something like this, just based on reagents and stuff alone, would go for somewhere around 2,000, but they're really trying to cut down the price to kind of get the technology out and get more people to use it. So, it did come to us at a discount, and I'm willing to pass that savings on to a customer, especially someone who might, a burgeoning hobbyist, because you get someone of the hobby, there's no telling, what how your interest might evolve, and how to go from there. And it's always nice to see someone pick up a new hobby and really give it a good go. So oh yes, I'm a salesman, I understand. It's just doing my job as well. I don't make the rules, I just work here. Yes, so I'd be willing to let it go for somewhere around say 1,200, and that's all in, all of the reagents, all the chemicals packaged up nicely in a convenient, easy to move storage container.
Nalith, as you move back over, he seems intrigued, Volker. Nalith, as you move back over to the Runelord, you watch as Birch sees the taxmaster discussing, and he runs over and grabs the chest that had the golem in it and rushes towards the cash register. Just rushes, like he was very intrigued by it. So your sale kind of maybe seemed like a backfire, but might have worked. And just want to let everyone know that
immediately,
as of right now, you guys are currently all tied. All right, you are all tied. You each have made 3 sales at this point. You've each made 3 official sales at this point. All right, and the rest of the day goes on. We're gonna do a little bit of a time skip here. The rest of the day goes on. You make a couple other sales. A couple other interesting characters come in. They go out left and right. Everything seems like it's going well. You have a vampire that comes in looking for a casket that you don't have, but you're able to sell him some very nice anti-garlic reagents. You have a red dragon that pops in looking for some adventurer repellent that you actually did have in stock. It's just fire bombs. It's just fire bombs that, tiny
just
fireballs.
Molotov cocktails.
Just Molotov cocktails, anti-adventurer reagents. And as the evening is beginning to wind down on your opening day, and the store's starting to settle out, your last couple customers, about 5 minutes before you're about to close, you're getting everything cleaned up. George is working, getting everything swept up. The raccoon has reappeared a couple of times, but then phased out of reality, and hasn't really caused too much mischief. But as the evening is winding down, doorbell rings, and in steps a wizardly-looking man. And he has a bit of a smarmy smile on his face, and he walks in with an air of
bitch.
He walks in with an air of, how do I put this? Like he knows he's better than you. But he's polite, he's cordial.
He's got some no-dick energy going on.
He's got some big no-dick energy going in. As he walks in, he saddles his way up to the counter. You were just about to shut the door, Volker. As he saddles up to the counter, Volker, he says, "Good evening. My name is Godfrey Silas Locke, and I am looking for a very particular item.
I understand that your group has done a bit of adventuring in the past. Is that correct?
Yes, my good sir, you would indeed be correct.
Absolutely
course.
delightful. I'm looking for a particular black dagger, a complete obsidian, a bit of a gem-encrusted handle, and I'm under the impression that your fine establishment may have such an item.
No, I'm assuming, of course, we don't.
You absolutely do not.
Okay.
Actually, would that fit the bill of my Athame?
Unfortunately, it might.
Good.
So it's up to you.
Okay. Because it is it's a dagger.
Okay.
It's made from a thigh bone,
Okay.
but it would be fancy.
Okay. Well, we're gonna let Volcair have a quick moment, a quick turn,
Mm-hmm.
but you can overhear this, Naelith, and Throg can overhear this as well. But he says, "You don't. Well, that's a bit disappointing, but perhaps I'll browse the rest of your wares. When in Absalom, as it were."
See, I'm trying to think of what
No
Just-
pressure, but whoever sells this guy an item will be the winner of the sales off.
Okay, I have, one thing left that pretty much I can try and
Alright.
do we know what we already sold? Or
I'm gonna say that you can resell anything. You've got duplicates of all your items. All right, that's what we're gonna
Okay.
say. So I'm gonna let you use your
Okay.
entire inventory to try to impress this guy.
okay,
Whatever you got, it could be a reuse, could be a new one. It's up to you.
okay.
But you gotta put your sales shoes on. You gotta give it the hard sell on this one. This guy seems like he's hard to impress.
Yeah. All right. I'll let him browse for a second and I need a minute to.
It's fine. It's fine. He's gonna
Okay.
continue to browse for a little bit. And who else would like to take a turn?
I will come up to him. First of all, I have to be nice to him.
Small backstory. This is the main villain in a 2-year campaign that I've been running with Drubaka and 4 other players called the Children of Solaria. He is the main villain of that campaign, and I threw this in here as I threw this in here as a little bit of a fuck you, Drubaka, because I love fucking with that guy. But yeah, so yeah, he walks over. Well, good evening, dare I say. I know I'm a bit late to the party, but I couldn't help but notice that you have a number of interesting items inside this store. What might you be able to intrigue me with?
You, sir. Now, I couldn't help but hearing when you first came in that you were looking for a dagger.
A black obsidian dagger of exquisite make. I was under the impression from some friends of mine that it may be in your store of sorts, but it appears I was mistaken. However, I'm here, might as well take a bit of looking around.
Indeed, sir. Now, a black obsidian dagger of uncommonly fine make we do not have, but I do have, and he reaches in his coat and very gingerly removes another dagger. Finely apportioned, bright steel, very well polished and oiled steel guard, wrapped in black leather with a large but tasteful ruby in the hilt.
Okay. Okay.
And he presents it. This is what did I name it? It's actually named the Dagger of Deceitful Assassination.
Ooh, and he looks very intrigued by it.
This
What
is
does it
a
do?
this is a magical item that does not do any damage to the creature that it is stabbed into. Instead, what it does is put them into a type of stasis, but it also creates an illusion of a bleeding wound. So you can use it to assassinate someone without killing them.
The wizard Godfrey Silas Locke looks devilishly intrigued by this item. But, as all discerning customers do, he says, "Well, definitely something that I'll consider, but allow me a moment to peruse. I understand you're closing, so I'll make it quick, but do set that aside for me, my dear boy."
Oh, I will.
And he will meander off, and we're going to go back over to Naelith. We're going to give Naelith a quick chance. I see you over there, Volker. I see you've got an idea. But Naelith, you see this fine. He's obviously a wizard of some great importance. You can see he has a thick spell book on his hip. He appears to have scroll tubes. He looks perhaps on par with you, perhaps a bit more, perhaps a bit under, but he is obviously a bit well-to-do. But he is currently perusing down one of the aisles that has a number of sectionals in it. You have a very nice selection of sectionals. A significant selection of sectionals, the SSS, as it were. It's a nice alliteration. And he sits down on one and goes, "Oh, this would be nice for the Arcanum. Quite delightful. Fits the trick is quite nice."
Can I tell like what school he is of?
You want to cast Detect Magic? Sure.
The little dick school.
Little
So-
Dick, the tiniest of dicks.
Yeah, I mean, technically we would know because you put the permanent detect magic on me. So I just always detect magic.
Yeah,
All of them.
Yeah. Oh,
Even
it's for-
some you've never heard of.
Yeah.
it's a generalist.
All of
Universalist?
them. A generalist,
Okay.
universalist.
A
Yeah.
universalist.
Which
okay.
school of magic? Yes.
Yes.
I'll approach and I'll say, "Excuse me, I can't sorry, I lost my words. I can't help but see that you are a wizard as well."
Oh, what gave it away? Was it the spell book? The scrolls? The air of "we're simply better than everyone"?
We definitely are, dear. We definitely are. I couldn't help but overhear that you're looking for an obsidian dagger.
It was. What of a particular make? I was under the impression that such a dagger existed in your store, but sometimes information you gather is incorrect.
It does exist, not for sale, perhaps, as it is one of my personal items. Now, and she pulls out the necromancer's athmane and she twirls it in her hand and she displays it. It's a thigh bone that has been carved into the shape of a handle,
Okay.
and it has been coated with obsidian.
Ooh.
Yes, it was placed in a mold and flash heated sand into obsidian.
The wizard, he almost looks hungry, Naelith. He almost looks hungry at this item.
Unfortunately, it's my personal arcane bond item. I can reattune to another one, of course. The price, I'm sure, as a wizard, is not going to be an issue. I would be remiss, though, if I was to give it to a wizard of lower stature than myself.
He gets a smile on his face that
I'm unsure what to do about it.
it makes you it's you know that like moment in a western wherever you can see everyone's eyes, like a standoff. You think you hear in the background, you think you hear a
You see, the problem is I've taught wizards myself before. I've nearly 50 or 40 or 30 at my disposal. I'm a good measure of character. And I have been we had the Rune Lord of Greed here earlier. So I've been around, I've known stronger wizards. I'm just unsure if I should part with this.
You think that Rune Lord was the actual Rune Lord of Greed? Are you so foolish to think that a wizard of such great importance would enter a shop such as this? If you think that is the case, then you are a larger
You did.
fool than I thought, Naelith.
and he says your
You
name.
you're thinking me a fool. Of course I didn't think it was him. Could have been 1,000 peoples. It could have been anyone he sent with a simulacrum body of his.
How much for the dagger?
I could sell it to you for 50,000 gold. Or you defeat me in a duel for 20,000.
And as he says, defeat you in a duel for 20,000, Voltaire, you have managed to come up with an item to sell this guy. And you see,
Right.
as you walk in, it's like that scene from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He's narrow-eyed, she's narrow-eyed. They're both going for their spell books. and
Mexican standoff.
You walk in holding what?
So I will break the. Might I interject? I have something from my personal collection that's, not a dagger. It is a weapon of a sort and might be interesting for a man such as yourself. If you'll come this way, I'll be more than happy to show you.
You hear, whoa, 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 and you hear the record scratch, and then you'll
Record scratch.
Oh, intriguing. I will, I'll get back with you, my dear. What did you have for me?
All right, so I'll take him to. I'll take it. So if you've ever been to like
May I?
ponds, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I'll just say I didn't think you were powerful enough anyways, dear. Offer stands.
Oh, boom! I love it. Oh my god, that's so good. That's so good. And
Okay.
as the wizard wanders off, he's still intrigued by the dagger, by the way. But as the wizard wanders off, Voltaire, what do you show him?
Okay, so I take him up to a side room that's essentially think kind of like a like strong boxes in a bank. It's just where like we lock stuff up, whatever. There's a bigger one, and it's sizable. It's probably 2 feet by 2 feet. He pulls it out.
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Shut your face!
God, please kill me. What was that? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He pulls it out, and a lot of the other strong boxes or whatever are all like gray, just standard metal, whatever. This one is black and covered in golden runes. And he pulls it out. It's like, just a second, I have to, perform a procedure to open it. And takes his hand and smacks it on the tip of his horn to get it to bleed, and drops blood on it. The locks like rotate. It's got a mechanical thing, and it opens up, and it's a mask inside.
Okay.
And he gently picks it up. He goes, "This, my good sir, is the Gladiatorum Eternum. You've put this mask on some poor unwilling son of a bitch, and it teleports his soul to a extra-dimensional plane, gladiatorial arena. Now, it can store multiple souls at once. So you put it on a succession of men. It takes their souls from their body. It puts them in the arena where they must fight. 10 men enter, 1 man leaves. The entertainment possibilities, if you enjoy that sort of thing, are limitless."
What is this item called, and how much does it cost? Is the mask of gladiatorial arena?
Gladiatorum Eternum.
And how much?
Oh, well, an item such as this goes for an easy 120,000 gold pieces, as there is only one in existence. And, well, messing with people is the real power, is it not?
So small out of character.
Yeah.
The evil wizard Godfrey in their game has a group called the Apostles of the Arcanum, and they all wear masks. And I think we now have a canon reason as to why they wear fucking masks, because you fucking win. That's the fucking win right there. I cannot. That is too goddamn perfect. He says, "I'll take it." And that, my friends, is the end of Rise of the Roomlords. And our winner for the evening, by a snail's hair, because he wanted that dagger. He wanted that sword. But our winner for tonight is none other than Atomic. Well done, sir. Well done. Absolutely fantastic. We made a gentleman's bet earlier of whoever was the winner of the game. I was going to send a copy of the Player's Handbook, which I do have an actual copy of the Player's Handbook freshly done. I actually just ordered it. It arrived today. I've got this, so I will grab your address and I will get this mailed out to you, my dude, as a thank you for playing in this adventure with us. And to Zachary, thank you so much. This is your first game on the channel. I hope you had fun, man. Chewbacca, we've been playing together for years in Atomic. This is the first time I got to run something for you. It was a bit silly. It was a bit outside the box, but I hope everyone had an absolute blast. And I wanted to say thank you to everyone that stopped in. But I want to give everyone a chance to make any final thoughts or any comments or concerns as we get ready to wrap this thing up.
I mean, it was great. It was fun. You know, normally one shot is like, okay, let's go do a crazy Suicide Squad mission, whatever. So this one was just, I mean, it was literally no combat. I mean, almost had combat, but no combat. It was literally an entire session of bullshit. And as a smartass, or as my mother would say, I am very proficient in bullshit. So it was, you know, it's fun to come up with
10
stupid shit. Yeah. And 10 ranks of just whatever. You're coming up with a lot of the items and everything else. Really kind of made you use your gears and think a bit more than you normally would. So I had a great time. It was definitely good.
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Zachary, it's your first time gaming with me, first time playing on the stream. What'd you think, man? Did you have a good time?
I thought it was wonderful. I had a wonderful time. I got to do a character that I thought I was gonna do, but couldn't do. So yeah, that's that. I would like to add something though.
Please, absolutely.
A small after credits Marvel-esque scene.
I love it. So the credits are rolling. It says in loving memory of Quinten Q Generico. You hear him screaming in the muffled room, and then
his name is misspelled again.
It cuts. What do we see?
You see the wizard from before. What was his name?
Godfrey Silas Locke.
Godfrey Silas Locke walking down an alleyway.
Okay.
And as he breaks from this alleyway into a small courtyard, on a throne of skulls.
Oh.
Two demi-liches by her side.
Okay.
The dragon behind her.
I love it.
20 some odd four-armed Madura skeletons. And the dagger in hand is none other than Naleth.
I love it.
It says, "Hello, dear. You will still have that duel."
Fade to black. Cut to black. Cut to black right there. I love that. I absolutely love that. Cut to black. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. That is our end post credits scene. Love that.
Yes.
Throg, Chewbacca. Any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns before we
this
wrap up?
this was a lot of fucking fun, man.
Good. Glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I loved it. This was a joke. This was literally like a 30-second joke on the Roomlords stream that usually plays here. And Jester Jasper is one of the players in that. He bopped into the chat for a little bit, and he made this joke like, "The finest goblin leather. These lampshades are perfect." It was wonderful. And it allowed me to do a couple of silly voices and to bring in some silly characters and to have a little bit of touching on to some other stories that I've been telling. And it was just an absolute riot and a half. So I just want to again say thank you to you three for doing it. Hey, yo, Jester, thank you so much for stopping in. And to all of our viewers, we had about 16 people at one point watching. So one of my more popular streams I've done. I want to say thank you to three fine gentlemen for doing it. And in the meantime, as I always say at the end of every stream, thank you to the players for playing. Thank you for the viewers for viewing. And happy gaming, everybody. We will catch you next time for our next adventure. But be well and be safe until then. Good night, everybody.